Hello, we're live. Welcome to sort of like Transformers the show, and good Thursday night.
Now, if the storm.
Oh good, we watched it twice.
Oh good, we'll do it twice. Starting off well.
Well,
I
had to do that because I wanted to double check what the hell that intro was. The thing I picked. Thank God it's just a Turbo Teen intro. I just went, what teen? What's he put on this? Yes. Well, welcome. It's Thursday night. Actually, it's not Thursday night. It's been a trick. It's actually Friday night, and we're back for Friday night. Although next week we might be back and we might do a Thursday night, but probably not. We'll still probably stick to Friday night. But we've got a lot of stuff on tonight's show. In episode, I think it's 155 of them. I'm not sure.
195?
95. Who cares? So yes, we've got all the latest news. We're talking about HasLab, Deathsaurus, potentially. Ian's going to be talking about his time in prison and how it's changed him and what he's learned from his experiences and what beauty products one wants to bring to the showers.
So many
we're going to have a lot we're going to have a lot of discussion questions up there, just from the panel, different choices, different viewpoints, and see what's going on. And I think what we're going to do is just get basically started straight with the news.
I talk some TV, and now the news. Don't touch that dial.
I love it when we dive straight into the news. And I haven't clicked on share yet. There we go. I knew I hadn't
so unprofessional.
I know, I can't believe it. Quickly, play the intro again. Right, okay. So, arguably big news. I don't know, because there's been a few things this week. But people have started to receive their email from Hasbro Pulse about the Deathsaurus, the HasLab Deathsaurus, that you now have until November the 24th to go on, log in if you've ordered it, and change your address details and things, because they are planning to get them shipped out well before Christmas by the looks of it. So not everybody's received these emails yet. They seem to be coming out in groups, but keep an eye out. Keep an eye on, and hopefully if you have ordered it, you will get yours coming through. Who has got this ordered?
Mean, obviously the privileged people will have ordered it, the chosen ones.
Yeah, I ordered it, but I haven't got the email. I mean, maybe I'm at
the back. Sorry, you have ordered it. Sorry, I meant who's ordered it rather than who's got the email yet. I've got one. Pete?
No interest whatsoever. Move on.
Come on, robot skin.
All right then.
You know, Pete. He probably didn't think you'd live long enough to see it.
Wow, it's true. It is.
I don't think so.
It is the game we play, Jamie. It is the game we play. Right. Jokes on me.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So, MDLX have revealed their Sideswipe, which, in my humble opinion, is the best looking Sideswipe I've ever seen. And yeah, there's a few photos for us to have a look through. I'll let you lads comment.
This could easily fill a gap for Masterpiece Sideswipe straight away, because the size it's coming out is Carbot scale, and I've been tempted to grab something a bit like this, because the Masterpiece Takara Sideswipe is well past its best. So it's desperately in need of an upgrade. Something like this could fit in nicely. It is very stylized compared to sort of other G1 stuff, but this stuff isn't particularly cheap, as I understand it from looking at Prime, even Bumblebee that Alexis has got. So you've got to expect this is going to be a good 200, and Prime's up for 300. So yeah, Masterpiece Carbot, 200-300 quid. It's a big ask. However good it looks, and it doesn't transform, of course.
No, yeah, nice pile drivers.
Yes, it's probably the best side. Probably the best side swipe.
I presume that comment from Transformers' show was meant to be that, and he's not just talking about 5 people in general. But, yeah.
Tie does make me flutter.
It might do, Paul. It might do.
But yeah, it's I have to. I know what you're saying about style. I don't think it's that stylized, and
It's not
I
heavily,
think that's
is
why
it?
it appeals to me more, because it does have more of that G1 style look. But it's a beautiful thing that costs a lot of money. So if you can pay for it and you can stick it in your collection, then I'm sure you'll get the chance to do so.
It does-
controversial.
Ed's already given his view. He's
Does it
tapped out straight
transform?
away.
You're at 10.
Got extra
Does
plays
it
of blue.
transform? 0
It
out
does
of 10.
raise a bigger question that if they're doing Sideswipe, are we going to get perhaps some? Well, yeah,
They're doing
or some,
Starscream as well,
Got
aren't
to
they?
do Sunstreaker if they're
some
doing
other
Sideswipe.
characters that maybe haven't
Surely.
had that much love lately.
Hmm.
Anyway, plenty of photos of him. There he
Very
is,
cool.
looking surprised because you've just called him out.
So trash it or flash it?
What was the options again?
Flash it or trash it?
Trash it or trash it?
I was going to say, it sounds like the
Someone
same one.
smash it or trash it.
Yeah.
Oh, smash it. Smash it. That's even better.
Third option, counter proposal.
Anybody says they wouldn't smash this is lying to themselves.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
Anyway, big news.
Maybe I was
Big
thinking
news.
of flash. I don't know.
No, not thrush. That's a different thing. The bird.
That was one of
Anyway,
my
moving
pickups.
on. So our own very lovely Jamie has posted a fantastic photo, which I'm sure he will show more of later in the show. He posted across social media, but on Twitter, friend of the show, can we call him that? I think we can call him that. Friend of the show, Sixo, has retweeted with some very nice words there for Jamie's photo. One of my all-time favorite pieces. This is me doing Sixo. One of my all-time favorite pieces of Transformers art by UK artist John Higgins, perfectly recreated. But that's not all. Oh, no. He wasn't finished there, because then he decided to add a little bit more. TF Show UK really crushing it with their toy photography at the moment, which I am.
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to let this change me.
Gone through 2 boxes of tissues today already.
I just want to freeze frame that and just put gangster at the bottom of it.
Anyway, that was
Kind
that
words.
was a bit of
Kind
fun. And
words.
it is a tremendous photo, and I'm sure Jamie will be showing it off in its all its
Well
glory.
deserved, Jay.
Beautiful.
The concept art Megatron, Transformers Bumblebee Megatron figure is now basically being confirmed, and we know that it's coming. Pre-orders have been up for this, I believe, and yeah, anybody pre-ordered it? Good, it's popular.
I mean, this came out of nowhere, right? It looks pretty cool, but yeah.
I think people knew something might be coming after that. There was that, was it like a one-step type Rise of the Beasts
That
toy
blue
that had
and
that was
grey, yeah,
Megatron and had the artwork on, the concept art on the front, and people were like, oh, hello, what's this? And yeah, so we had people suggesting we might get something, but it is a little bit out of left field, especially as we got more than just this, didn't we? I should mention that this was revealed at the London Comic Con last weekend, amongst other figures, which we shall now delve into. So that's, it's a triple changer. Forgot to say that as well. That's apparently a third mode. It's a flying.
This is what happened.
bird
This is
spaceship
Ravage,
thing.
Ravage and Laserbeak have a baby.
Ew.
Oh,
It's like a transforming
Don't go,
Transformers
it's a
muzzle.
robot.
and
Still,
it stole Megatron's blaster.
Yeah, well, a little bit. Then we have this, which is the concept art Decepticon Rumble. This looks strange.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's blue though, because he's Rumble.
It's blue.
It's got
Um,
teeny tiny Bruticus.
It
It's like head
does.
sculpt.
I'm not sure what's going on with the face sculpt because it looks like it's
Bruticus
got a little
starts
nose.
preschool.
Brutal
Yeah.
slash Vortex.
It's
Yeah.
a teeny tiny.
Like if Bruticus had a baby. No, let's not get into all that.
Wait.
Power drivers again, little legs, and transforms
so
into
What is
whatever
up with
that
that?
is.
I mean, that is part of Reflector, surely. That is 1/3 of Reflector.
It's definitely in
not sure what that
disguise.
is.
Can't say it's not.
It looks like it's been through one of those compactors. Anyway, there you go. So you can pick up that, you can get that pre-ordered. Mohawk from was he from Age of Extinction? And he was in it for about 30 seconds before he got killed off. They've done a toy of
I
him.
would just
in
like to
both
make
our
a
series.
safety announcement. The person on Transformers the show doing the chat, I'm pretty sure is Alexis, because of the bad spelling and grammar. Continue.
Alexis, get out of the Transformers the show thing. Use your own.
Yeah, you've got your own, mate.
Anyway, Mohawk, there he is.
This actually looks really cool. I do like the look of this.
Well, quite a few people seemed quite excited about this because he was his little character who was a little bit mental, and then they just
Gobby.
killed him off, like they do with so many Decepticons in the Bayverse.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he's got a little bike mode. Nice
See, now,
enough. I suppose.
so they can do it, right?
Yep.
They can do it. They just are lazy.
You
Pretty
tell him.
much.
Predacon Scorponok from Rise of the Beast. There he is. He's a scorpion
That
that
looks
turns
quite
into a robot.
It's got more color on it than it did in the film.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about that. If you like that design for the movie, you can pick this up now. I think it's a deluxe class, isn't it?
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
there you
looks
go.
like it.
Nice. And there's his Scorpion mode, which actually the Scorpion mode looks all right.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah.
I'd like to think Hasbro can get a Scorpion mode right now, though. They've done enough of them. And then Wheeljack, or what was he
Pablo.
called? Pablo in the film, wasn't he? Yeah.
Bloody
So
hell.
again, kind of knew this was coming. Any?
Doesn't get better, does it? The more you look at it, it doesn't get better.
No,
Is the gun made out of translucent plastic, or is that just the way it?
it does look like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Why? Why, Hasbro? Why?
I just call him
Dark
Panel Van.
face.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't use the biggest Comic Con of the year in London to release all of these toys.
Yeah, that would be really disappointing, wouldn't it?
It's almost like
Anyway.
they don't care.
And then, so we saw some of this last week. So this is the Studio Series Gamer Edition Starscream. So somebody's got this in hand. I cannot remember off the top of my head who it was. I'll have a look in a moment, see if I can find
Was it Prime?
where
Was
I've
it
got the
Prime?
photos from. No, this was somebody called Nave Scorb who put up these particular photos. So this is just to show him off. Does this change anyone's opinions on the figure? There's the game card on the left and the toy card on the right.
I just think it's a step back from the original figure,
Yeah, agreed.
which is a shame.
Yeah, there's a lot of things about this that just seem a bit off. I know what they're trying for, and I think they've obviously had a good effort, but I don't know.
It's that big centerpiece is just not winning me over. I could forgive the rest of it if it wasn't for the cockpit. That's ruining the image for me.
It's a bit too big for you.
A bit too big. Too big. a
From
cockpit.
behind, because we know Alexis is
Hey.
watching. There you go. And there you go, the 2024
Wow.
version, 2012.
Makes that face look good.
How you
Where's
going to get
Paul?
off the floor with them wings?
Where's Paul when you need to talk about a terrible plane mode and
Brick.
deep pace? Yeah, brick.
And there he is. It's some people like it. I've seen more people who've been
Who
more
likes
negative. I can't name any of them, obviously.
Name and shame,
Trying to play
Andy.
devil advocate here.
From
If
another
you like
planet.
it,
I just think
Let us
we
know in the
should
chat.
say stuff like that, which might not be true.
shouldn't encourage it. If you like it, stop watching. No, I'm joking. You
Colour
can still watch.
pieces are-
So please note these color pieces are consumer assembled. So in other words, you have to put them on yourself and packed out with the accessories. So the little color pieces you have to clip on yourself. Don't throw them away unless you're throwing the figure with it.
The thing
I
is,
did
as
put it
well-
in. This is a DNA kit for a combiner, but they haven't confirmed who, and they've just released this teaser, so we don't actually know which combiner it's for.
Ooh.
Volcanicus?
It's gotta be
Have we had a reveal
Volcanicus,
for
sure.
Volcanicus?
Could be,
Full class.
yeah.
The
And
full
then-
class.
That's me.
Yeah.
Oh, massive sword on the
It's-
back.
That's me.
It's the Arrowfire combiner. And then there was a
Yeah.
couple of other photos, the official
But
product
so-
shots of Starscream, but we don't need to look at those again because, crap. There you go. Oh, look, you can click that
Yes.
giant hammer
is the
mallet thing
mace
onto it.
thing?
Awful.
Yeah, oh,
Hey,
God.
why
The
would
thing
you
is,
want
with the Starscream chest, it's always funny. You get the upgrade kits. You can't really upgrade that chest piece, can you? You
No.
can't exactly
Take it
disassemble
off and cut it in half.
Or
Butcher
not
it.
buy it, then you don't
Yeah.
need to
Or
worry.
just don't slave.
Or
Just
burn
save
it,
your
I
money.
suppose.
Right into
Right.
a wall.
Junkie on Scrap Heap. We have also seen leaked photos of this before, and I think it's already been out somewhere. There you go.
He's
the
already
official product
interested. I'm looking at his face.
shot. There you go. Another
Definitely.
junkie on for the ranks there, Pete. I know you're excited.
It's what the fandom were crying out for.
Yes, it really is.
Can't
And
say that
there's
without gritted teeth.
the what you call it, the prototype of Megatron. So again,
It's a
more
sex
evidence
toy,
that's actually coming.
which has just been used. It
I
just
mean-
looks abysmal.
What is that?
It's not great.
Jamie's just told you, Rohan.
Yeah, when you're listening,
I still don't know. It still doesn't make sense to me.
reactivate Optimus Prime.
Sex in
Somebody's got in
general on
hand-
toys, I don't know.
Both.
Who got this in hand? TFW 2005 user Frosty Coffee and Facebook user Sonic Bomber Core both got this in hand. So there you go. You can have a look at these in-hand photos and tell me whether you think this is a good prime, a bad
I
prime.
don't want to get it, but I
somewhere
tell you what, the photos are almost selling it to me because I think you took good photos there. But,
I think it's
I actually
decent,
quite like
yeah.
the look of
Yeah.
it.
I really like the old mode.
it's the
Yeah,
photos that are tricking you. Don't look.
Yeah, but your photos do
So
that,
do
Jamie.
yours.
Don't-
Your photos do exactly that.
I tell you what, there's something very
Get that
THX
away from my
hybrid
eyes.
Prime about him.
That's a
If
good
anybody
pose.
remembers the Takara hybrid Optimus Prime, it looks very similar, the style-wise.
Well, maybe we don't get good photos when they have like a least thing, do we? It's usually sort of like out of focus and
lunges. Not sure about the back kibble bit, but I mean, I could probably live with it.
Yeah. Alexis
There's not enough
Mann.
Optimus Prime toys anyway, is there? You know,
Never,
we probably
never.
need some more.
He's underrepresented as a character.
He really is.
isn't
If there's one thing the fandom is saying is more Optimus Prime toys. We
he?
haven't
More
had
red
any.
trucks.
Fairly clean. Can clip stuff on him. There he is next to a couple of the other recent Optimus Prime, so you get an idea of the size. I mean, he's a decent
Yeah,
size.
he's
But
stepped
see,
up a bit.
Yeah.
that says it. That photo says it all though. It's like 3 in what, 6 months, 8 months.
It's a lot, isn't
But
it?
you know what? You know, it's that photo. He does look the best out of the feet,
He
and
does.
I've got the movie
Yeah, he
one.
does,
and,
yeah.
yeah.
It comes with the Matrix, of course, as the whole Prime seems to now, and there's a bit of a comparison with the actual, again, the kind of game design at the bottom, and then what
Why
they did with
is
the
his
toy.
one good and the other gamer one's like pish to me? I don't know.
Different design team.
Yeah,
maybe.
different design team. Yeah.
So
And
you
there
know
he
we
is.
had leak of, well, not leak, but naming leak of Studio Series 86 Prime. Do you think this could be the basis for it?
Could be, maybe.
No,
But they'd have to do a lot of tweaking and a lot
Yeah.
of changes on that, wouldn't they? But I mean,
yeah,
it's not beyond the realms
Earthrise.
of
the Earthrise Optimus.
of
Right?
a possibility.
Hmm.
This is Cang Toys versus Like Toys Power of the Primes kit. So there's the Power of the Primes Predaking without the kit from Like Toys, and there's him with the kit from Like
Wow.
Toys.
Haven't we already seen this in that's been out in a while before?
Yeah, the Light Toys one has been out, but the comparison hasn't. I don't
I don't think the
No,
comparison.
it's probably not the comparison. No.
The price
I've
is
seen that
interesting though. I mean, I guess when you compare it to the price of Cang Toys, you know, Predaking as a whole, it's a lot cheaper, but it's still $333 for the Power of the Primes
Yeah.
add-on kit, which is more than the actual figure itself. Yeah. So I guess it depends. I mean, I wouldn't have been buying the Cang Toys one personally just because it's not my aesthetic, but you know, $333 for an add-on kit is just wow.
Yeah.
I know it makes it look
All
great,
of-
but wow.
All of the
mean,
Like Toys, all of the Like Toys add-on kits, that's the cheapest
are.
I've seen stuff go for $540. It's
Wow.
just crazy prices.
It does transform the figure though.
It does change it,
Oh,
yeah.
don't-
It does improve it.
He
but
wanted to cook
it's
the fucking dinner.
$333 worth. Anyway, a couple more pictures of Reactivate Optimus Prime. I can't remember why I put those in there. There was a reason, but there they are. We've seen him. We all think he looks good. And that was all of the mainline news, which means we can whiz. I don't think go to the toilet. We can shoot on. No, wait, that sounds wrong as well.
Whiz
Let's
all
just
over
do
third
third party. Are you doing the intro, or shall we just not bother seeing as it's live?
Yeah.
and-
Well,
we got to do
before
the
we
intro.
do, I just wanted to make a quick announcement. Remember, Alexis OnlyFans account, secret code for show Z. You know, 7 people have bought something so far. It's not all been Alexis, and so if I was you, I would play your cards. You know, 7 people. If I was you at 7 people, I would encourage others not to take part because that would increase your chances of winning. But you know, also. Talking about my photos and talking about Instagram Storm Toy Photography, we must remember we've got Arrowfyre here as well. And Arrowfyre has got his own Instagram account. And so if you want to see crap Transformers, you know, the third-party Transformers, those masterpiece Transformers that no one wants
Cheers,
to buy.
Jay. I appreciate the shout out there, mate.
He's got a show Z code as well, but you know what he uses.
because you're
You
too
definitely
busy
don't want to
buying
use Fire One on
chug
Show Z,
figures.
definitely not.
But seriously, no heart. If you want to get good third-party figures and see a plethora, a myriad of wonderful different third-party Transformers, give Arrowfyre a shout and have a good look there because there's some wonderful good stuff. And he seems to be posting every day, if not every 2 days. So it's always, and sometimes twice a day. So there's always good content there. Yes, but yes, remember, show Z for Alexis to help him because he just he just can't afford Transformers anymore.
It's just,
It's
he's the
awful to see him.
correlation of the group.
Yeah, every week with that sad little wee face,
I only got £1,000 worth of figures this month. Help him. You must help him. We're going to do a live aid for him. Anyway, or use code FIRE1 and help Arrowfyre.
Yeah.
Either or.
And I hope everyone had a wonderful Halloween. And I hope when the kids came to your door that you sent them away with nothing, because you don't want to give them sweets. Sweets are bad for kids. Or maybe give them something nutritious. I mean, you could have given them fruit. Trouble with fruit is it's got all these toxins in it, isn't it? And it's a bit waxy. What I did with the kids that came to my door, I gave them seeds. They can grow their own apple tree. In 20 years' time, they'll thank me.
Maybe you on crack.
Just so we're clear, you put on YouTube that you gave them seed.
And little envelopes.
Oh dear.
Oh, okay, good. All right, good. Good.
Wow.
Anyway,
fun party
YouTube.
news.
Believe it or not, this is the fun part.
oh dear.
He's gone for the Lexus.
He's got a little bit, Alexis. Pangu Toys Autumn Festival Limited Edition PT05 Fury B is what I think they call this. I'm just off the top of my head. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's obviously movie B, but I don't know why he's pink in this iteration. I know there was a pink one, but that wasn't Bumblebee, was it? It was Laserbeak in that particular movie. And why he turns into like a Mad Max style car.
It seems popular, this, though.
Oh, it looks great. It just seems random to me. Have they done this toy before, Pangu? I mean, I'm not really into Pangu.
Pangu Toys are a new company. They've only done a few figures, like the Legend Scaled Omega Supreme from the DX9 larger scale figure. So I think this is one of their first sort of out there on its own unique designs, shall we say?
Right.
Looks a bit like a Wrecker to me.
It does. It has elements of, Dark of the Moon Wreckers as well.
Leadfoot and all those guys.
Yeah. And it's a nice looking figure. It's Legend scale, you said, isn't it?
Well, they have done Legend scale stuff. I don't know if this one is.
It's such a punt, isn't it? To release it and a production run of 100, maybe 500. It's got a cost associated to it.
What do you think, Arrowfyre?
I'm not convinced.
I don't really understand why this one's. It seems an odd choice. Okay, it's left field. It's something that hasn't been done, so you can applaud them for that. But I don't think anyone's crying out for it.
No, it's not been something I've seen people desperate.
Might have been more popular if they didn't use Bumblebee and put a new character head on it.
That might have been an idea, but then again, I suppose Bumblebee sells, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So this is New Age Lincoln, their Trailbreaker, and this is, I think, the only image we've had so far, or at least certainly the only one that we had in the news.
Yeah, it's the only images that are out so far of it. It's a nice looking New Age figure. They are trying to catch up with Magic Square in terms of the car bots, and good homage.
We all love a good homage.
They're pulling them out quite quick, aren't they, as well?
They are, yeah.
It's starting to get quicker and quicker.
Is this knockoffs of
Yes.
another company? So this is Phantom Toys, isn't it? So do we know who Phantom Toys are, or are they just one of those mystery companies that just appears?
I've not seen anything from Phantom Toys before. I don't know if any of you guys have.
So which
Not
knockoff
on
is
there,
this?
not
Is this
familiar
New
with.
Age or Magic
Just
Square?
David, yeah.
Anyway, there you go. So you can get it as usual in the different decos. You've got your shattered glass. It's about 12.8 centimeters tall, just a shot in the dark there again.
What
And
are
there's
those
your
black things? Are they
Nemesis.
capes or?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
They look like capes,
Bit weird, isn't it?
just in case you want a cape for him. And there he is running. Or perhaps dancing.
Running.
There he is, shocked and surprised and in defense mode. And then running again. Go on, Pete. I know you want to say something.
I just don't know why you think, right, I'm trying to sell this. I'm going to pose him like he's having a shit.
Well, that one. Yeah, I thought that was a bit strange.
What is coming out of that?
I mean,
It's showing off
look
the ab crunch, isn't it? That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I guess so. Do you need that much ab crunch though?
Screaming
to
ab
take a
dabs,
shit?
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Nice looking Legends figure. There's his vehicle mode.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Right, Ian, is this your area? I believe with FansToys.
I guess so. Yeah.
Superior.
Yeah, we've finally got coloured, I guess, finished images. But no, nothing's finished, is it, until we actually see it, of the last two FansToys aerial bots, and then combined Ethereon, their Superion, in toy and cartoon look. Yeah, it's good. It's finally good. I was having a chat with Graham about this recently. 5 years this set will take from when it first came out, and it's going to cost the better part of £1,000. If you add it all up, depending how much you bought the first three figures for, because the price changes. It still isn't confirmed how much Slingshot's going to be, because the flight stand and the skeletal frame is coming with Slingshot, and some sites have it up for £400. But it's not confirmed. Sorry, that's $400, I might add, for what it's worth. No one's confirmed if that's the actual price or if that's just a few sites making a bit of a generous assumption. So in and around $400. But yeah, it's good to see it done, but the proof will be in the pudding if it actually is worth the wait. 5 years and design changes and £1,000 is a lot for anyone to stick with it. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to see it through. Yeah, it's good to finally see it done, at least.
Shall we look on Auto Trader during the show and see what £1,000 can get you?
Yep, let's do it.
We really are the top gear of Transformers. We all buy a car for £1,000 and see if it's better than this.
Nissan Micra, I'm guaranteeing you.
Got to be.
This looks great, though. I mean, I know everything
really
Ian's
does.
just said, long time, a lot of money, but it does look excellent.
I still think the comparison is going to be with Zeta in the flesh. Zeta Superion has been the de facto masterpiece Superion for a while, and a lot of people have said, a lot of people who are diehard FansToys fans say they're just going to keep these in the individual modes because they look great, and they do, they really do, and still keep with the Zeta combiner for Superion, which I might do the same, because I certainly can't have two combiners of the same one. I haven't got a room. I like that. I like the head sculpt. I might have one in toon look and one in toy look. That'd be quite cool. I do like the gold antennas. It's going to be painted beautifully. I did say, and I could be wrong, I'm sure people will tell me that I'm wrong, but I did say that Slingshot and Firefly will be more plastic than die cast in terms of a ratio for the weight on the skeletal frame. And I still stand by that until I'm proved wrong. I still think they'll come out lighter, because you think skeletal frame will weigh what it weighs. The other three bots, Silverbolt, Skydive, Air Raid, they're very heavy. You start having those heavy bots on ratchets for shoulders, you start putting it up at a 90 degree, that will not take the weight, and that will fall straight down again. So I think they'll be lighter.
Yeah. Which Superion are you today?
Rotator cuff. I'm a bit gutted that the eyes are blue and not gold like the toy. I think that'd
surprising it hasn't come up with an alternative.
Yeah.
Maybe they will. Maybe they'll take on board that constructive criticism.
Oh, they will. You'll just have to pay £100 for it.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
£1,100 now.
So this is the MMC Nemo. Well, it's servered, but I think it's supposed to be severed. Servered Grin. So this is their Joker type bot that they have designed from their IDW Chrome Dome. Yeah. So what do we think?
I think we saw some of these pictures before, didn't we?
We've seen a couple of leaked photos, but these are the official ones. We haven't seen these, not on the show anyway.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah,
got
cool use of the mold.
Yeah, it's got serious Cybertron Dirt Boss vibes for me.
Ooh, that's an idea for a repaint.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You see, again, I think it's one of those things that's really niche. So, I mean, how many of them will you really sell, if you see what I mean? You've got to be a big fan of the Joker and that particular figure, which I didn't think that figure was that popular. I seem to remember seeing it on sale not that long after it had even been released. But yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
To your point, I think it depends on how many more Batman-based figures they can eke out of other molds and build a little collection for you on.
Well,
but they have done Batman, haven't they?
Hmm.
Oh, have they? I was going to say, because
yeah.
the mold, the alt mode suits the tumbler quite well, doesn't it? If they spun it round.
Yeah, a little bit thin for the tumbler, but yeah, I see what you mean. I think we've got the alt mode coming up. somewhere. So many photos of this thing. And there he is again. There you go. I knew there was one, at least one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the elements of the tumbler, isn't it? But not. It's what was it again? Smash or trash? That's probably a trash for me. Probably a trash for me, if I'm being honest. Not necessarily because it's bad. I just don't think I'd be bothered about picking it up. Anyway, smile, as he says. This is a little bit out of left field because I know it's not Transformers, but we're getting a Voltron that looks pretty awesome and epic. So I know there's a lot of Voltron fans who are fans of Transformers, so we've chucked this in here. There you are. What's the company called again? It's up there. What's it called?
Ryobot? No.
It's something like that. You can find it online anyway. Have a look. I'm sure we shared this in the Facebook group as well. So go and have a look there and see if it's something you might be interested in picking up.
It's very cool.
It does.
Nice.
And Cang toys. Who's into their Cang toys in this group? Ian.
Yeah, not this set for me. This is their stylized Dinobots. I think we've seen this released at TFCon. They had a prototype of one there in this sort of silver temporary deco that they do. I think the alt mode actually looks quite good. The bot mode, I like the use of the tail as a weapon or whatever, but yeah, it's very stylized. Not for me, the set, but I do like the look of the alt mode when you get to it.
Which we will now. There you go.
All in good time.
That's quite
Yeah,
cool.
the alt modes do look really good. I think the alt mode looks better than the robot mode in some ways. I feel like they prioritize the alt modes.
And to be honest, I think on all of the Predacons, it was only really Tantrum who stood out as a robot. The others were very forgettable as robots. You kind of had them in their beast mode. I had most of mine in their beast mode, to be honest.
And is he just the bottom part of a leg then? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
with
because
Cang toys? Right.
Yeah, I think they have got detachable feet, but I don't know if they. There is some tarantulas in this. I think they're going to be the hands. I can't remember, but there is going to be feet that plug in, basically. So yeah, it's going to be a shin, basically.
And then this is the mini Cang toys Predacons, isn't it? This particular one. So this is Rampage.
All of these now. I keep thinking this set's done, or more or less. I thought Razorclaw was the last one out to make the torso, but
no, they keep dropping more of them. You know, why not, eh? And there he is with his big brother. So you've got that larger one, haven't you?
I have.
You've
Yes.
got that one, and that so you get a bit of an idea of the scale of it in comparison. And there he is in his. What is he? Is he a tiger? He's a tiger, isn't he? Rampage.
Jaguar, isn't he?
Yeah. They say he's a tiger in the Teletran files, but really
he's a saber-toothed tiger there.
Yeah, he could be kind of
tiger.
Lynx or something. Yeah, he could be any kind of.
These things are usually a little bit, open to interpretation. So there he is as an arm, and then there is the combined mode, which I think is the first time we've seen the fully coloured, proper combined mode revealed.
Cool.
I mean, it looks pretty fierce, but then you see the size of it compared to the big brother again. And it's mini, because it is mini. That's the whole point. And then this was some late breaking news. Do we know which company this definitely is? Because it says...
Alexis, I think, did say it was Pangu Toys.
It says Siang Cultural. What's that got to do? I don't know. But yeah.
No.
So it might be Pangu Toys. So this might be a Legends Metroplex. There we go. Looking Metroplex.
This is Bayway Toys. Bayway.
Yeah, well, I thought it said Bayway Toys, and obviously he said about Pangu, but unless it's another company that works, I don't know. I don't know how these things work.
I'm going to look this up because me and RJ have ordered one which looks very much like this. It might be that one.
Well, this is it. When I found the pictures, I thought I recognise the model, but I don't recognise the company name, or I can't think of what company name was doing it.
Yeah.
And we've had quite a few of these, or it feels like we've had a few revealed recently, so you kind of lose track as to whose is whose. But it's a nice Metroplex. Just be nice.
So to be fair, Andy, this is the boutique model.
Boutique. I did notice that it was alloy edition as well.
So you're probably getting
made of alloy.
It's clear why. But this
please remember 16
mistake
plus
to
only.
So Andy, you are right. It's Cyan Culture, Vladivostok Metroplex.
Oh. That's exactly what I said.
Now say that again in a Russian accent, please, Rohan.
Vladivostok.
Yes, that'll get us back in with the Russians. Hey! Brilliant. And there he is in the box with all the gubbins and stuff that you get with it, which looks like it's quite a lot. And that was
Those
it.
LEDs and batteries.
Oh, sorry?
They LEDs and batteries.
Looks like there's some electrics here. There's quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Light up eyes and light up weapon and light up chest. Yeah.
All love a light up weapon.
Anyway, that's the end of the third party news. And news.
Well, thank God for that.
Well,
thankfully, for those who are still awake, we can now move on to sexy pickups.
We now return to the Transformers.
So I'm quite excited that Volandi's used the pissed off right now. I'm quite excited what us four sexy people and Peter picked up this week.
No need.
Who wants to go first?
I
We
don't know.
can let old man Pete.
No,
go first.
no,
Oh,
no,
No, don't be like that. Don't be like that.
I'm not playing your games. all right?
Don't
Oh,
fold your arm and have a strop.
All people are getting funny, isn't he? So maybe we'll just give him his lollipop.
He loves it, really, doesn't he? All the attention.
I've got 3 pickups this week. As we're on Masters of the Universe the show, I picked up Fisto. Yeah, Fisto. One I've wanted for ages, and he arrived at a decent price, so I was very glad with that. And also, quite a new release, Whiplash. He's literally, I think, one of the latest wave of the Revelation stuff.
He looks good.
Yeah, he really is. He's got so much character. It was a very fortunate. I was on eBay at the right time and snagged him for a very, very reasonable price. So very glad with him. And last one, I have got a
want to see
Transformer.
that price because I know Emma watches this show, so she can hear what this price might be.
It was actually £28, which I was
That's reasonable.
well chuffed with. Yeah,
very
they were
reasonable.
they were like 36 new. I was well chuffed. They haven't been out too long, to be fair. And one more animated Ratchet literally turned up
Nice.
today. Everyone knows how much I love
Is
these
that the
animated
pregnant
toys.
edition?
He is a chunky boy, his animated Ratchet. Yeah.
It's a design choice. It's an
I mean,
aesthetic.
look. All right, he's relatable, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Hey, who are you aiming at that at?
Just saying.
Well, hang on, who's pregnant?
Yeah,
That's what I said to me, Len. She goes, Jamie, you put on some weight, and I go, it's a design choice. It's a design choice.
Design choice.
animated Ratchet. I love the animated toys. They're just so easy to play with. Love it.
Very cool and
That's
quirky.
Yeah. That was me.
Okay.
More
Talking about
reasonably
easy things to play with. Ian, what did you pick up this week?
I got a few things that come through the week, so some of which you've seen on socials. Beast Wars, Transart Skateboard Gorilla. I backtrack because this is one of the older Transart releases, so got him in robot mode. So yeah, I'll be doing a review on him. Very nice. More or less just the upscale version of the original toy, which was a perfectly good toy. So yeah, that was good.
Does the
got
skateboard
shiny.
make him better?
No,
Very shiny.
No, he's good in monkey mode. I will say that because the blue chrome chest really lights up. I've got this, which is an older third party figure. Still haven't worked out to get the hand in, so we'll do that later. But as we were talking about Reactivate and a more of a Cybertronian looking Prime, I got Make Toys Striker Manus, I believe the name is. So it's quite a sort of chug scale one, but it's the alt mode I kind of fell in love with. I really do like that Cybertron time of it. I think of this as very similar to the MMC Orion Pax's one, that sort of era of Prime from the IDW comics. So I like this as a in-between before he becomes Optimus outright, or at least G1 Optimus. So that came up for a reasonable price. There you are, Rohan.
Yeah, very cool.
Haven't transformed it yet, and he won't stand up either. Stay still. And finally, which I did a review on, FansToys Dracula, which I did the review for Halloween to finish off my Rebirth Monster Bots or Beast Headmasters. Very nice. Won't stand up in this mode. Topples over. 2 back heavy. So not brilliant in that sense. But I like how he looks. I like things about him. And he's already 40 over. Again, that's me. That's my 3 pickups. Yeah.
Rohan, what have you picked up this week?
Right. Well, you're going to have to bear with me a little bit because I've gone full Alexis after a month of virtually no pickups. I've had the mother load all come through in one go. So you would have noticed on TF UK, I posted up about Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus at Amazon for £78. Still in the box because I haven't had time to get him out just yet. But yeah, he's there. And I picked up this week. I don't collect Masterpiece, but I did pick up Masterpiece KO tracks, and the main reason I picked him up, 2 things. One, he was a very reasonable price, £15, and 2, I really wanted the little Raoul and Blaster figures to go with my human collection, so they have been added in there. I need to do a shout out to Toys R Us, friend of the show, Russ, who has sent me a plethora of bots this week. So all third-party stuff, some Legends, and 1 KO. First and foremost, we have a Rising Forces Hyena. If you remember, I did the review of the other 2 Rising Force figures that have been out so far. So that was Wild Rider and Dead End. And this is the 3rd edition, Hyena. He's got a really cool, unique transformation, this figure. Although I'm not a big fan of the robot mode, and there are some slight defects on there, like this really loose joint here. But anyway, he is a decent.
So Toys R Us gave you a defective product then?
To be fair, it wasn't him who made it effective, but yes, it is.
Don't be intimidated, Rohan. This is the time to speak
out. Damn you, Russ.
Do you know who else has got big muscles?
Yeah, very true. Very true. So I'm looking forward to completing that set to see what Menasor looks like, because we still haven't seen him yet. Just as RJ and a few other people probably in the chat will have had, I got Sand Leopard, which is the MFT, now Dr. Wu Mechanics Studios figure, Legend Scale Sandstorm, and I'm going to have him in cartoon mode because I only do cartoon and I like this figure, even though it's very Generation 1 based, as you can see, in terms of it looks exactly like the G1 toy. There are some nuances in here which make it quite nice, and unfortunately the little blades on the back just keep falling down, so I don't want to lose that. There we go, that's him. I also have, which I have not taken out of the box yet, Magic Square Vortex to get the 4th part of the Constructicons, and I'll just very quickly unbox him here for you. He comes with Bruticus's chest plate there, and head, and 1 fist as well as his blades in the box there. So I might do a review on him if I have time for next week for you all, or if not, Rising Forces Hyena. And the last thing I've got here to show you is this little beauty, which is Shape-Shifting Jeep. It is, of course, a knockoff of the Studio Series Rise of the Beast Battle Trap figure. Costs about 15 quid, and here is the figure. Toys R Us has done a review on this, and it was this specific figure he did the review with. It's very hard.
That product out, Philly.
It has QC issues. Yeah, very good point, Jamie.
Shock horror.
It's defective. In fact, Russ wasn't able to transform it into pickup mode. You could probably just see there's a bit of panel gappage. He couldn't get the top down, but I've managed to force it down, and it looks okay. I'm going to keep him in this mode most of the time because it reminds me of the Mask Wildcat vehicle, which I absolutely love. So that is it for me this week. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
That is it.
Like
it wasn't enough.
And there's been some wonderful comments on chat, especially talking about Arrowfyre's Optimus Prime. Was it Manus version? Was it
Striker Manus? Yeah.
Yeah, Big Gav saying it's fantastic. Yeah,
he's a good-looking figure.
personally, I don't like it, but everyone else seems to be saying it's good. So
It has that look of the reactivate one a lot. Or have we already
Yeah,
said
that's kind of one.
I did have to
reason
step
why
away
I kind of
from
put
it.
up.
But some
I did,
people
yeah, I
like
did
Gab. I
mention
mean, Gab doesn't mix his words, and he said it's like one of the best sort of chug versions out there. So yeah, you know,
Can trust Gav.
old age is catching up on Gab. It seems, but you know. But moving on, Andy, what have you got this week?
Right. So obviously, well, I say obviously, people may not be aware that I popped up a little video on the channel earlier today. A few months back, obviously, I got the box of Generation 1 Transformers from one of my wife's workmates. They used to belong to her brother, and he didn't want them anymore. Her dad's house was getting cleared out, and they'd uncovered this box of G1 bots. So we did a video on that, and this week, was it Wednesday? Or was it Thursday? I can't remember. Anyway, we got a message from her, and she said, we've been back to the house again because they're clearing this house out. Apparently, it's quite a big house. They'd been back, and she sent my wife a picture, and the picture was of this, which is a bag full of tech specs, G1 tech specs, and one set of stickers that we have worked out thanks to Russ's help after G1 Ground Shaker. So that was quite interesting, and my wife said, "Oh yeah, Andy, I'll definitely have that." And then she said, "Oh, there's another thing I found as well," and she sent me the picture of a box, and I was like, "Is there anything in that box?" And she said, "I think so. Yeah, you can hear something in there." And that box was G1 Metroplex.
Wow.
So
Cool.
it's almost complete. The only thing I think missing from this Metroplex is, the little missiles that go in the end of the gun, but they're very easily lost anyway in the end of his cannons. Everything else seems to be there. It apparently has literally been away in storage since kind of the end of the 80s, and it's just been wherever it was. So the box, there is wear on it. These were played with toys, as we said, with the last one. But we did a little video, so feel free to go check it out. And in the video, I do actually go through these tech specs, which, you might think, well, why? The reason is because I thought when I got them, I thought, there's a hell of a lot in here. And it turns out probably about a third, maybe getting on towards a half of these are tech specs for figures that this person obviously had in their collection, but weren't in the box of Transformers that we got and we haven't seen yet. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we might actually get some more. Fingers crossed. In amongst the tech specs, you'll see if you've watched the video, but there is G1 Jetfire and there is G1 Scorponok, amongst many others, including Blue Streak and Starscream and all this. So who knows? Maybe in another room they're going to find more of these Transformers stashed away in
Dare
stores.
to dream, Andrew. Dare to dream.
So that was lovely because that was free, and who doesn't like
cool.
free things? I also got from the whole shebang toys, who have been brilliant throughout. I got my replacement for Merman with an actual straight piece of armor instead of the warped one that came on the last one. I haven't actually opened it. I haven't really had time to do any of that at the moment. But that was a really nice thing to get, and so quickly as well, because again, I think it arrived on Wednesday and I returned it on something like Saturday. So it's not been that long a turnaround. And then just because really, I was in game and I knew I had some points and I thought it would do for an Earth mode one until I can get the Netflix one. I did buy the Legacy Soundwave. Just on a Soundwave tip at the moment. And then online, just because I saw it was cheap and it was an impulse buy, I bought myself a boxed Power of the Primes Elite 1. But the most exciting one for me, other than Metroplex, obviously, was I decided to... I'll tell you why I did this. This is Jamie's fault. Him going on about photos and how they make people want to buy things. Well, Jamie did photos of this a while back, this set, and I desperately tried not to look at his photos, and I did look at his photos, and then I decided to buy it. So I bought the... what do they call it? The Sniper Duel or something like Deadeye Duel 2-pack. Because it seemed fairly reasonably priced on Amazon as well. So I've snagged that, and I haven't opened it yet. I've not even opened it yet. But that only arrived yesterday, so I've just not had time because of the Metroplex thing, messing around with that and doing the video for that. So yeah, I've had a much more productive Transformers week than I've had for quite a while, and very glad of it as well. Oh, and if you don't mind, please go check out the video. It's not very long. It's not an hour-long opus like last time.
I mean, the expenses you went to setting up that scene when you did that video, taking people back to the 80s with that tablecloth was amazing. I was transported back in time.
Jake,
That was brilliant.
You're laughing, but when Claire sees you next, she's going to beat you.
Yeah, great. That's what
And
I was really laughing.
I will be sat there drinking my beer.
It's okay, because if it's next week, Pete might be there, and Pete's the one who'll get hit.
Oh, if only. Not the Pete getting hit thing, obviously. Although you do seem to be the punch bag for a lot of things.
Jamie, did you buy pizza? Yes. Where's Pete? Bang.
It's got a punchable face. It's not my fault.
It's because you're old. They can sense weakness.
I can sense weakness.
Finish
Smell death.
So basically, what I've done is I did some photography this week, and obviously I did pick up something, but I just wanted to show my progression. And this photo was taken in 2020, and that was originally when it was the Power of the Prime sort of Dinobots. And I loved it. And I remember because I didn't have a stand, I didn't really know what I was doing. So I had string on Swoop, and I had Maylin holding Swoop. And because it was string, Swoop was moving back and forth. So I had to tell Maylin to hold her breath and stuff like that. And, and it was very taxing. I think Maylin still has nightmares about that. Wakes up screaming, But yes. And then a year later, when I got the Grimlock and I got the oversized Power of the Prime Dinobots from, actually, who's it from? Oh God, I've forgotten the name. And it's Arrowfyre's in partnership with him just now for some reviews.
Prime Time
Toys. Yes. I know the individual names, but I've forgotten their name. So they really helped me get the oversized sort of Power of the Prime Dinobots. Went to great trouble to get that, so it was great. And I sort of did the shot again, and it's the same camera, the exact same mobile phone. What had improved had been basically not getting Maylin to have to hold it in a piece of string. I had actually used the stand, and I was getting a bit better with the art package, but mostly it was just the lighting. I started to get some more lights. Before it was yellow light, I was using light from the ceiling and stuff like that. So there, and then a year and a bit later, I moved on to this, and that's the same photo again, and this one is it's just to show the progression of aiming. So when you're starting out in toy photography, what you'll tend to find out, it's not really the equipment you've got, it's about how to use it, and it takes time. It really does. And when it comes to using a mobile phone, as much light as possible is always the answer, or outside in natural light. But this is obviously taken with a DSL camera now, and I've got as much light as I want, and I really lit this guy up like a Christmas tree for this photo. I was shining every light I had onto that, and obviously it was really touching to have Sixo share that, make a comment, and all the other wonderful comments as well, because it does make it makes it worthwhile all the time, and the years building up to do that. Because when it came to doing this pose, I kid you not, it's almost like I had it ingrained, because I'd done it previously with the other Dinobots, and I spent with the mobile phone pictures. Sometimes it was like 300 or 400 photos I would take to try to pick the best one, because I've got really shaky hands. If anyone sees my how to fix Skyfire, whatever it's called, Skyquake, you can see I'm shaking all the time. So with my mobile phone, you can imagine I'm shaking. So I'm like clicking a photo, and it's trying to find one where it's not shaking too badly, But now I've moved on to using a stand. Yes, if you ever taken photos, use a stand. Stand just improves everything. It improves the sharpness, the clarity, but it allows you to do micro adjustments as well to sort of get there. So yes, that's what I got to, and I was just happy because I had that set in my mind. It was almost like muscle memory, putting them into the pose and how I wanted it and how I wanted it to look.
Beautiful.
You've really come a long way in the 3 years or so that you've been doing this, and it just shows when you see all the photos together. So really good work, mate.
Cheers. I really appreciate that. And that was the deal I made with Ian for plugging his Instagram account. I had to say that.
Your debt has been paid.
Yeah.
It's such a shame, Jamie, that after all that hard work on those photos, that you slugged off our tablecloth, and my wife's going to kill you. It's a real shame, that work's going to go to waste. But you've had a good run.
Yeah, I've had a good life. I'm ready to move on.
That is a great photo, and it was rightly praised, not just by Ian and all of us, but also by 6.0, and I'm sure many other people who've been able to see it on here on social media, wherever you might have been lucky enough to see it. Fantastic.
I mean, it goes to show you how good the Studio Series 86 Dinobots really are. They're brilliant, and they're just an awesome bunch. And I just, it's the iconic picture, done by that UK artist, and I've forgotten his name. Typical, but
was it Rob Fermini or something like that? I can't remember.
No. Give me a second to actually find his name.
Rob Harris.
Oh,
I mean, you did say artist. You did say artist, so
John Higgins, which I should have remembered because it sounds very much like the Scottish snooker player.
John Higgins.
Yeah, but he's not John Higgins, the Scottish snooker player who moonshined as an artist or whatever. It's John Higgins, a sort of UK Marvel artist. So well done, and he's done a plethora of other sort of comics like Death Ed, etc. But moving on, I picked up this wonderful figure, Optimus Primal. And I've got to say, and the thing is, I read reviews, I've seen reviews, and there's people like Spiderfather who sang it praise, and I really respect these people, but I just don't like it. I don't like its ape mode. And I think it's because in that pose, you disconnected the legs because I think for that pose, his shoulders need to be up high. Yeah, in a lot of the reviews I watched, his shoulders are almost like dislocated and they're down because when you connect the back legs, the only way to get them into that type of pose is to dislocate the kind of shoulders. Or like me, you have to disconnect the legs, and I went for the latter, disconnecting the legs. And I just think for that kind of, even though it looks kind of good, it's almost like it's over-engineered, like the back feet. I mean, that's why I've got it in this sort of dark shadows, so you don't see the sort of the back of this thing, because I just don't like it, But I love its robot mode. Its robot mode is brilliant, but then there's that lovely sort of model kit which is out there of Optimus Primal, and you think you might as well just get that because that's brilliant and actually comes with a faceplate, which just one seems to be lacking. It comes with Optimus Prime's axe, when it makes me think Studio Series, Hasbro are starting to put the accessories of other figures they forgot to put in previous packs. So we've got Prime's axe. Does that mean we missed out on his faceplate then? Is there going to be a Studio Series figure out there where, oh, this will have Optimus Primal's faceplate? So I'm a bit annoyed, but the actual figure itself, when you turn it into robot mode, I just think it's exceptional, and it's a beautiful figure, and that's the pose. That's the figure I'm going to have it in. That's the mode I'm going to have it in, and it looks good with the other Beast War figures there from Rise of the Beast, and it's if you're just going to get it for the robot mode, brilliant. It's got good articulation in that sense. It's got a lot of thinking, and that's why I'm a bit disappointed because I just think the faceplate would have made this awesome. That little touch, that one little accessory, which probably a third-party company would do if Hasbro are not going to release it with another figure, would have just made this figure complete. And as I said before, don't listen to me. I'm a bit funny when it comes to the alt mode and why I didn't like it. There's a lot of other people have said lots of positive stuff about this. I just think it's for something that looked that good in robot mode. I think they could have designed that sort of alt mode slightly better. I think they over-engineered it. Maybe they overthought it. But as a figure goes, it is brilliant. Good articulation, good pose, good presence.
I know that you don't like the alt mode, but your photograph of it is absolutely immense. I mean, the darkness that comes out in that photo is one of my favorite photos you've ever done.
And this is why I like you, Rohan.
To be fair, the best thing about Beast Wars are your photos.
Oh.
But yes, so I just wanted to sort of share my little bit of opinion about that, and so that's why I thought, you know what, instead of taking lots more photos of this Beast Wars, and and I know there's fans out there like Arrowfyre, but he went to prison. But is basically, I just thought, you know what, Dinobots, that's what I'm going to go with. I'm just going to grab the Dinobots, and I enjoyed them more. And it's, as I said before, I like the robot mode. There's lots of people that love there. There's lots of fans out there. It just didn't click with me, fully. And I love Earzor. I can't even pronounce her damn name. Earzor. But I think that's a brilliant figure. And I when that came out, I was so excited to get it, and it's just brilliant. So it's like, oh, but yeah.
Very cool.
Other pickups which I got, back to the Transformer Human Universe, G.I. Joe. I have no idea about this figure, but it's Cobra Shadow Tracker. He looks awesome. He looks cool. So that was good enough for me. Also, because there's a clearance sale going at Hasbro Pulse right there, and there's actually sales going at Kapow Toys and In-Demand Toys, I picked this up for 20 quid.
Wow.
And it's brilliant. So, and people go, but Jamie, Hark, you already have this. You already have it. Well, you're right. But you know what? For 20 quid, you get a fantastic wolf, which would be great for toy photography, background shots, other accessories, and you can never have too many snake eyes. And
is that a thing?
I got 20 quid a motorbike.
Cool.
And I have this already, but you can, for motorbike, another accessory, you need to get it.
It's like a junkie on.
You want on sale.
Spending the 40 quid on something you haven't got.
But I see, that's the thing. I'm happy. I'm almost content. I'm in a spiritual
good place
just now. Yes, I'm just, so now I'm just getting extra stuff. I'm just happy now.
Very cool.
Wonderful.
Into his head.
It's amazing what spending lots of money can do for you.
But it's not lots of money compared to your purchases.
It's a sale.
I would not stand for this bigotry.
Oh dear.
Dear.
After all that, let's do some foreplay action.
Lynn, these are sex people.
What do you mean?
They're sex swappers. Lynn, this is DEFCON 1. Look. Look. Don't make the same noise as them. Don't think you want to join in.
So for foreplay, what we're going to look at is our top 5 greatest Transformer stories arcs. Transformers the movie, not allowed.
Suspenseful silence.
There we go. He has a PowerPoint. Let's go with it.
Yes.
Just to re-emphasise for any members of the group that
Dramatic
didn't pause the movie.
If Alexis was here, he'd have picked Transformers.
That's the wonderful thing. I mean, I feel like I can actually pause now and take a breath.
Oh, even Alexis, if you're watching.
Miss you.
I think you must be, because it's incredible. Whoever's running the Transformers the Show YouTube account tonight managed to put in a direct quote of something you said earlier today, Jamie, in the chat, almost like they've copied and pasted it in. Amazing. It's wonderful stuff. Love you, Alexis. Don't ever change. Well, maybe a little bit.
Right, so who wants to go first?
I'll go first if nobody else is in about it. I have some pictures to share to illustrate my point. I don't have a book of notes, though. I haven't gone like that far, because that'd just be ridiculous, wouldn't it be? But I have...
just want to make sure it's all encompassing.
All right. So... as soon as Jamie suggested this, the first thing that jumped to my mind, apart from the G1 Marvel comics, which I pretty much knew Jamie was going to do, was More Than Meets the Eye, the IDW stories. I absolutely adored these stories. They started in 2012. They introduced so many of the lesser-known bots and could turn them into characters that people actually gave a crap about. And, of course, it led on into the Lost Light as well, which wasn't as good, but was still good because it continued so many of their adventures. So for me, this is one of the greatest overarching stories that we've ever had in Transformers. It was entertaining. It was funny. It actually made you reading it made me emotional at times because it dealt with a lot of it. It's one of the best things about good Transformers writing is when it touches on a lot of human themes, so you can relate to the characters more. And this did a lot of that. Sometimes it did it a bit too much, but that's personal preferences. I mean, we'll have our own different opinions, but I thought this was fantastic.
Sometimes it become too real for you, Andy.
Sometimes it did. Sometimes it reminded me of my own life, you know, when I was in an intergalactic war. But everything about it, like the artwork was superb almost throughout the entire run of it. I mean, it's still some of my favorite Transformers artwork. The characters that it introduced, many of whom like never existed. Tarn is now probably a legacy character almost. He's that popular and that involved in so much of Transformers. He's been in Cyberverse now. They've actually made him, you know, this sadistic, murderous monster. They've made him into a kiddies, you know, into the kiddies version of the cartoon, just so they can have toys of him and everything. And the DJD, you know, they're all legendary. Just again, talk about the emotional side. Oh, sorry, the spoilers in this. We should probably say that. If you haven't read this, just, you know, mute it or something for 10 minutes and don't look at the screen. But there's obviously, we talked about this, I think last week. Did we talk about this? I want to say Ian might have discussed it, about how we were talking about Soundwave, I think, at that point, and about how there's that moment when Ravage dies in the storyline, and he's all the way over the other side of the flipping universe, galaxy, whatever, and yet Soundwave feels it where he is, and even Megatron, his reaction of losing a friend, and just brilliant writing, just stuff that, yes, could make you feel all these different emotions and sadness and everything, but also really entertaining. It felt to me like if Red Dwarf, you know, was Transformers. It was that kind of comedy. It just made me laugh out loud. I'd sit and read the comic books, and like Claire would be looking at me like I was a madman because I was literally laughing out loud at some of the jokes and things that you saw in them. And one of my favorite things they did was the Scavengers, which was this wonderful group of misfits, and I don't want to call them losers. That seems harsh, but I mean, they were basically, but just very entertaining and just wonderful characters, really. The fact that they took Misfire, who was one of my favorites, Crankcase, who was one of my favorites, and they put them into this group that were, again, really entertaining. I don't know if you've all read this page from the comic books when they had like, it's like a little quick previously, and you saw all these random images of adventures they'd been on, and this bottom one was, anybody want to guess which Transformers photographer took that photo? Anybody?
Was it you?
It wasn't, no. I wish it was. My God, trust me, if it had been me, you'd all have known about this. Every week, it had been the first thing in the news again. No, this was Maz from the Triple Takeover podcast.
Oh, nice.
Who was asked to create this photo. And so, you know, you've got all these wild things going on.
Oh, he's so lucky.
And then he created this photo with them stood there. I don't know what's happened. It's obvious what's happened. I want to know how we can make it unhappen. Just wonderful stuff. As I say, the Scavenger storylines, I loved all that with Grimlock and the DJD and the adventures they got up to. And they were just a bunch of misfits. And I don't mean this in a harsh way, lads, but it kind of reminded me of us as a group. Just great fun. People not really knowing what they're doing, just going and having a good laugh, just getting on with it. You know, cracking wise, having a few drinks,
traveling through the galaxy.
And then you look, traveling through the galaxy as we do.
Getting killed later
with Overlord. I mean, everybody always knew Overlord was badass, but I mean, the way they wrote him, and like he was the great thing about it was he wasn't invincible, but he was almost invincible. So it was like, how are you actually going to stop this friggin' bot?
Do you think badass is the right word to use to describe a homicidal maniac?
Yes, I do. Moving on. But yeah, for me, more than meets the eye because of everything it encompassed. Oh, and it was award-winning. We should remember that as well. It won comic book awards in 2015 and 2016 for its writing for ongoing comic book series, and beat out DC and Marvel comics in that.
Well, that's not hard these days now, is it?
Well, maybe not. But in 2015-16, I'm sure it was. But it's just a wonderful storyline, and I remember reading parts of it and reading it and thinking, this is how can Transformers writing get better than this? I love the G1 Marvel stuff because I grew up on it, but this to me is like the natural progression. It's people who were fans of the G1 Marvel stuff who then have written in the more modern modern day kind of style. So for me, it's more than meets the eye, and that whole storyline we had going right from the beginning to the end of it. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Oh, that is exceptional.
Yeah.
And again, I feel sorry for the person that
Yeah.
has to follow up. But I
Yeah.
know this time he's prepared. So, Pete.
Pete.
go for it.
I'm so glad it's not me.
Thanks,
It's not a competition.
But if it was, I'd win.
No, because Bill does vote for whoever goes for G1 Marvel. It's fine. I'm used to it now. Oh, I forgot to say, and that's my signed copy. That's my signed copy of Dying of the Light signed by James Roberts.
Nice.
Anyway,
Well, what am I doing? Hang on, I want to share some.
love.
I want to share some pictures, but they seem to have closed.
Thank you, Mick. You can stay now.
Let's go while I get my pictures ready. Because they were open.
If you've got them ready, I will share.
So
They were-
he's ready. Rohan, quickly sing your theme tune.
You put me on the spot now. Damn it.
And then he
I haven't
really
got it
does have
ready.
something to follow.
Yeah. Rohan's got no, I'm done. No, I'm not doing it.
How does
It's
it
not
go again?
live.
Rohan's corn. It
Do you
feels like
want
I've
me
not heard
to
it for
start
ages.
talking, Pete, while
Rohan's
you're
gone,
trying to get stuff
Do
ready?
you want somebody else to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
You can.
good.
That's all right.
No worries. Well, I'll go. Basically just to get out of the way. My choice is perhaps the greatest piece of literature that's ever been written, and that has been Time Wars. And Time Wars was not only brilliant in the sense, it was moving on from stories which were already quite established in the Transformer lore. And the Target 2005, etc. But the artwork was there, and it was great because you're starting to see the new future Transformers, which were in the Transformers the movie, and you're seeing your vintage G1 Transformers, and you're getting to see the rebirth Transformers as well, like Headmasters. So basically, you were spoiled by this sort of the myriad of Transformers out there. Some the three made epochs: G1, Rebirth, Transformers the movie, and they were just combining them all. And you had the Decepticons as well with that era as well. So it was just brilliant, and the nice bright colours, the action scenes, awesome. And spoiler, basically it was Galvatron, and everyone basically wanted to kill him because Galvatron was basically going to cause the destruction of all time as we know it, because he traveled back in time, again trying to escape from Unicron, and this time he teamed up with Megatron, who turned out actually to be a clone. But basically they were invincible mode.
Spoilers.
But when you think about Transformers, though, because this Megatron had basically had a chassis built for him and basically had the memories of Megatron, he basically was Megatron. So again, exceptional story and a good bit of writing. And I don't want to spoil too much about stuff, but it is brilliant. You get to see the Wreckers and the Mayhem Attack Squad. You get to see them absolutely decimated. I won't tell you which ones died, but yes, it is just great. And I mean, just fantastic stories. And it kicked off in episode issue 199, and it led on to issue 200, which kicked off a sort of a new century for Transformer comic collecting, and it just felt like it's not going to get any better than this. And then it was brilliant. You had the classic Civil War scenarios, which you all love when Autobots fight Autobots or Decepticons fight Decepticons. It's almost like a what-if scenario, but written into a nice, coherent story. And Disney Marvel, maybe you should take note of this. What happens when you actually write a good, coherent story? You don't always need to go to the multiverse, But yes, it was great. And that perhaps to me is one of the most iconic images of Time Wars, is when Megatron and Galvatron teamed up and the Wreckers and the main attack squad encountered them, and it did not go to plan. They thought it was going to be easy, but then they forgot who they were dealing with. Megatron's bad enough, but dealing with an improved, souped up, chaotic Megatron in the name of Galvatron, you're just asking for trouble. You have got perhaps one of the two best figures, two best characters I love, Karnavik, evil Decepticon, but noble. He believes in his cause, but he's honor, you know. But he doesn't hide what he is. He's an evil killer. He's no sugarcoating it, trying to say, well, he had a bad upbringing, and you know, and there's reasons why I'm an evil sociopath. No, there's no hiding about it. He's a warrior, bloodthirsty warrior. He completely owns what he is. But you know, he had a line. You know, he had a sense of honor, which I guess he had to do to survive in Cybertron and become a Mayhem Attack Squad. You know, Earth's Last Hope, Power Master Optimus Prime coming back, a character which we've still not really had a great version of. So if Marvel, not Marvel, Hasbro, if you're listening to this, which I know you're a great fan of the show, please rectify this. Please fix it. And I always love that. I always love this cover just for the wee image of the little robot there. You know, it always just it makes me laugh. You know, but
I remember seeing that cover in when my copy was delivered to me. They used to deliver them with my dad's newspapers, and as soon as I looked at the cover, I thought he actually really does win, but of course, might be misleading.
I mean, what you don't want to do is recommend this comic to artists on Twitter. That's a big mistake.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I find out the hard way, you know.
Oh.
I mean, whoa.
Brilliant.
I know, but that's a story for another time, children. But yes, less said about that, the better. Yes. But yes, Time Wars, an exceptional story, and brilliant, launching back, passing the heels after Target 2005. It goes on to launch the Survivor storylines, the Earth Defense Force. It goes on to launch a fantastic storyline, which I think Pete's going to be talking about, maybe even now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Are we sharing?
Yes.
So I think following on from the exquisite rundown of Time Wars, my storyline falls, I think, quite close after it. During the Time Wars battle, Springer saves Carnivac's life. And Carnivac, I think, whilst being a Decepticon, can't still really get his head around it because he sees Springer as a warrior, and he's a warrior. And I think further on during the battle, Carnivac has the chance to kill Springer, and he doesn't. All right, because I think, as Jamie said, he might be an evil Decepticon, but he's a warrior at heart. Okay. Obviously, Time Wars goes on, and him and his friend Catilla remain on Earth and form an uneasy alliance with the remaining Wreckers, and they form the Survivors, which you can imagine the Decepticons aren't very happy about. Snarler puts together the Mayhem Attack Squad back on Cybertron with, I think, one aim, and that's coming to Earth and getting the traitors, Carnivac and Catilla. And I think that leads nicely into this, this little run of three issues in the UK comics where Carnivac avenges Catilla's death. Carnivac has fallen out with the Survivors. He's off on his own. The Mayhem Attack Squad get him in a position where it's 1 against 5. Springer and the Autobots and Catilla turn up, and Catilla dies in a crossfire trying to rescue Carnivac, and Carnivac takes it very hard. He's a warrior, and whilst yes, he is evil, I think there is an element of, could you call it morals? I guess I don't know. There's some values there as a warrior. I think so. I'm focusing on Carnivac getting revenge against the Mayhem Attack Squad, and for me, as an 8-year-old, I love this storyline because I think even then it's like it's a Decepticon that's hunting other Decepticons because his friend died. It didn't make sense, because all through the storyline, from episode 1, Decepticons were evil and they didn't really like each other. They just worked together to rid the universe of the Autobots. So for me, Cry Wolf, he starts to, he Needle Nose is the first one that gets it from the Mayhem Attack Squad, and they're focusing on the fact it was quite cleverly done. They've made out Needle Nose as a coward. Needle Nose has served with Karnavac on Cybertron. He knows what he's capable of. He knows he won't rest. If he's vowed revenge, he will get revenge. And the issue focuses on the fact that he's a coward. The issue starts with, him running a drill with Bludgeon and Stranglehold, where he's timing their response times. And I think Spinister says in the issue, mate, you're only alive because I didn't let Bludgeon kill you. Cowardice should kill him. And in the end, Karnavac, breaks into the, the base. And I think the last episode, the last page, is where Karnavac stood in the doorway and is saying to Needle Nose, "You shouldn't cry wolf," and then he takes him down. I think, Wolf in the Fold. Karnavac is still, he's still on the base. He's still looking to try and take out the rest of the guys. He's waiting until someone's on their own, and then he comes across Bludgeon. But Bludgeon, being the expert in Metal Kido, knows that Karnavac's there, and and they scuffle, and the issue ends with Karnavac, facing all five of them that are left, and getting shot. Now, as a kid, you're like, oh my god, what? How? What? Is Karnavac still alive? What? So you've got to wait to find out what happens. And the last episode, I think, is sums up Karnavac perfectly in terms of the issue starts with everyone thinking he's dead, but it's actually his pretender shell that's been destroyed. And as Snarler's inspecting the wreckage, there's a machine that falls out of nowhere and kills him.
Oh yeah.
Like
bacon's on the menu, boys.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Autobots turn, the remaining survivors turn up looking to help Karnavac, and Spinister gets shot in the back and dies. And it was quite a touching moment, I think, at the end of the issue and at the end of this story. Really, is the fact that Springer defeats Bludgeon and is about to execute him, and Karnavac stops him because, knowing Bludgeon, he knows that Bludgeon would be happy with a warrior's death, but Karnavac wants to stop him having that, because that would be the ultimate punishment and the ultimate revenge for killing Catilla. And even now, in the definitive hardback collection, this is a story arc I always go back to reading. I love it. Absolutely love it.
I think that's the thing, is like when you look at it, it's sort of like the whole Transformer fandom, there's so many stories that just mean so much to people. And looking at some of the comments here, a lot of people seem to, because they're a bit our age group, apart from RJ, which is a bit strange, but they always talk about, Last Light, or they're talking about Target 2006, etc. And yeah, Time Wars and the sort of stories that came before and just after that. It seemed to be like a wonderful golden era. Arrowfyre, what did you pick?
Yeah. So similar to Andy, I went to IDW, but I went just a smidgen beforehand. I actually went with the end of Phase 1 in particular that led into the split of Morna Meets the Eye and Lost Light. And where I found this particularly good, fantastic end passage, it's been in a few years, so I can probably show you, where it's chaos, really. That is the name of the story, and how you've got Galvatron summing up this army of darkness, which was like decapitated sweeps that were making this big monster, and Megatron actually goes toe-to-toe against it and actually really holds a great battle. But what I really love is that, of course, at the end, Optimus opens up the Matrix, and it eradicates all the chaos, all of the dead sweeps, and is just sitting there on the ground looking a bit helpless. And what I felt around this part of IDW was this was starting to really lay some good groundwork, that when you went into what Andy very well described, which was More Than Meets the Eye, Lost Light, the storytelling felt like it was really picking up and really meaning something. There's some other ones that go into the early issues of More Than Meets the Eye. They start getting Metahawk in, they start getting in Starscream as sort of the supreme ruler of Cybertron, and some of that really kind of had really deep meaning. I felt it started from the very end of Phase 1. I really started to enjoy it and flick through the comics, and you just felt every issue had so much weight behind it and doing a lot of groundwork for the next story. Not so much on character development. I think More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light did that a bit better, but that was kind of a bit for me that I felt when I was reading through IDW, because there were some hit and miss issues prior to that, but that felt like it was really ramping up, and now they're going into Phase 2. So clearly they had a plan of what they were doing going forward. But yeah, a bit short and sweet because Andy covered it so well. Clearly RJ doesn't agree. But
yeah, but he lives in Cornwall, so what does he think?
That's mine. Fuck it. People can agree with it or people can't, but that's mine.
I agree with you though. I think it led in so nicely into that whole More Than Meets the Eye phase, but it was also a very different style as well. So the fact that you got within the IDW run, those different types of writing, is part of the reason why the IDW run is looked back on so fondly. And we hope this new one is going to be just as good, if not better. But I mean, I haven't actually read the issue yet.
It ran so long.
2005 was when IDW got the license. 2012 was when Modern Meets the Eye started. So, and Robots in Disguise, which obviously was the other part. Yeah. So,
I mean, the way I look at it is when you first get into Transformers fandom, you obviously always set your stall. This is the stuff I love and I like. But if you like something and you love it, you don't need to build it up by destroying other stories and other people's loves and things that they like. And I think that's the thing in society we've gone into the trap into. To build something up, we have to do it at the expense of something else. And I just don't understand that, and I'll never will. And I think people who ever do stuff like that and they try to justify why they hate something that I just think you're sad, and you've gone into a trap. You've fallen into a trap of easily, basically bullying and stuff like that, and it's an easy trap to fall into.
Is this because I slag off Beast Wars?
I was just going to say.
I was going
anyway,
to say,
Beast Wars.
I was going to say there's exceptions. Obviously, there's Beast Wars, there's robots.
You just stole my whole
Rohan.
I was just going to say, I'm so glad you ended on that sentiment, because I'm just about to talk about Go Watts' best episode.
Well, there's always exceptions to the rule, so go for Rohan. Go for it.
Go on.
Right, well, we've talked about Marvel comics, we've talked about the New Age comics, shall we say, that came in to replace it, but we haven't talked about the absolute pinnacle of Transformers franchise in terms of story arcs, which is, of course, GoBots. No, it's not. Okay, it is, of course, the original G1 Sunbow cartoon. And what was the pinnacle of the G1 cartoon? It was, of course, season 2, when we had some iconic episodes. I could talk about some of the multi-part episodes like More Than Meets the Eye and The Ultimate Doom and Five Faces of Darkness, but I'm going to talk about my absolute favorite episodes, which are a two-parter from season 2. It is Megatron's Master Plan. And for those of you who remember this story, it's all to do with the Decepticons using propaganda to trick the humans in the world.
Humans would never fall for propaganda.
Into thinking that the Autobots are evil. So I'm going to show a couple of pictures here from the episode. We have a kangaroo court here where obviously the Autobots are on trial for being evil, and we see for the first time ever in the cartoon series, or as far as I had ever seen in the franchise, the Autobots being depicted as evil, which was pretty funny, and then going on trial in front of a human court. Why should the humans get to rule what the Autobots do? I mean, these are some absolutely mammoth behemoths who could just squish them with one foot. But anyway, next thing we know, we've got propaganda on the TV with Megatron and his goons telling the world that they are the people to lead them and what they're going to do for them. That's all load of rubbish. And then we get a parade with Megatron and the cons, and it's like, what is this? It's just hilarious. And you get little kids who want to draw Megatron pictures, and you're like, okay. And Soundwave goes to a disco and dances with some girls. Okay, brilliant. And then the other thing that I really like about this episode is you get to see virtually every single Transformer from G1 Season 1, Season 2 in this episode. Every single one of them is in the fight scene at the end where you've got the showdown between the Autobots and the Decepticons. So that's one of the key things for me, is you get everyone there.
So is that how they solved the propaganda to saying we're not evil Decepticons, take this and beat them up?
No, I'll tell you what the storyline was. So basically, the Decepticons faked the Autobots being evil. They put on, like Starscream put on a Prime costume, and they pretended to steal energy and destroy human sort of buildings and things, and attack the army and all this kind of stuff. And then at the end of all of that, there was this kangaroo court, as I mentioned before, and the Autobots were sentenced to banishment from Earth. And somehow the human race managed to get enough money, scrounge enough money together to build a huge rocket ship and send the Autobots up out into space. And basically the idea was that the Autobots were going to go back to Cybertron, but Megatron had other ideas, and he went to Teletran 1 and he physically changed the destination that they were aiming for to
Milton Keynes.
Well, that would have been just equivalently as bad, to be honest with you. He changed it to the sun and locked it in so that their ship couldn't change back. And this is where Hound is looking here at the trajectory in which they're facing. So you get to see another magical power from Hound, and some of the other characters in this episode also get to show off for the first time. Characters like Cosmos, who we hadn't seen much of, gets to fly out in space and see where they're going. You get quite a lot of Thrust, who's tormenting Chip Chase and some of the other humans. Yeah, I know what you're thinking there, Pete. And then Trailbreaker at the end, because what happens is the Autobot shuttle actually goes into the sun. You see Megatron laughing at Teletran 1 as he sees it destroyed, and Chip Chase's face as he's like, oh my god, what's happened? And as a kid, I was just like, the Autobots have all just been destroyed. That's the end of the show, that's it. And then what actually happens, spoiler, 30 years later, is Trailbreaker uses his force field to save all the Autobots, and Cosmos has to fly them back to Earth. But that only happens after Teletran 1 is destroyed.
Rohan,
yeah.
Do you ever wonder from the episode 1 in season 1 of the Sunbow cartoon, if when Teletran sent that little
Sky Spy.
Sky Spy to go and look around the Earth and come up with alt mode. Do you think if it ever went into a sex shop, the whole ethos of Transformers could have changed?
It definitely
the whole dynamics could have been different.
Discussion question.
Let's pick that up later on the show. Well, we would have had a lot more phallic shaped objects, that's for sure.
Lost opportunities. That's what I like to think.
Sorry to interrupt this fascinating phallic chat, but I just want to point out, because Impactor 666 has replied to a comment from Transformers the Show saying, "Yes, Andy, correct. It's not me. It's not me."
Breaking news.
It's Alexis. Anyway, but yeah, I just want to make that clear. I am not also Transformers the Show as well as Andy TF the Show. Sorry, go on, Rohan.
That's all right. Yeah, I was just going to say there's plenty of drama. We think the Autobots are dead. They come back. One of the best things about this episode is actually the humans. And I'm not one for loving humans in the Transformers cartoons and films, to be honest with you. But they are really well showcased in this episode. We get the evil Sean Berger character, who is trying to take over as mayor, and the bumbling mayor, who's quite funny himself. And the two characters play off each other, and Sean Berger makes this alliance with Megatron, and then basically Megatron screws him at the end of it and puts him in the mud, and nobody likes him. But it's just one of these episodes where I learned so much. It has so many twists and turns, and the fight scene at the end is brilliant. And one of my favorite episodes ever. I think there's so much for you to garner from that episode.
Did you have that episode as a video cassette?
I did. I had that was one of my first ones, and growing up in 1987, 1988, that was when I was 3-4 years old. That was the episodes we were watching, me and my brother. Series 2, season 2. Most of the episodes on video were like Key to Vector Sigma, Megatron's Master Plan. You got The Revenge of Bruticus, the movie, obviously, Arrival from Cybertron. Those were the sort of staple diet episodes that we went to and got from the video shop every week.
Because I always wonder if that's the reason we have a love of certain things, is because we actually had it, and it was, and we didn't have such a diverse range. So we basically reinforced ourselves again and again by reading the same story or watching the same story again, and suddenly that's one of the reasons it became our favorites.
Totally agree. 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
So basically, I think that's basically all foreplay done. So
could I just share one quick thing?
Go for it.
I don't want to go full Alexis here, but I just you may remember that when I was doing my little discussion, I said how some of the characters and the storylines kind of reminded me of us. And this is a quote that I think kind of sums it up quite nicely, which I hope won't offend anyone. But I won't read it with voices. We need Alexis here for that. But it says, everyone on board the Lost Light is cracked in the head, which you could substitute Lost Light for Transformers the show. Yeah, dysfunctional isn't the word. There isn't a normal bot among you. And that wouldn't be so bad if you actually made progress. But as far as I can make out, all you do is argue, crack jokes, and get sidetracked doing pointless silly things, and that only you find amusing. And for me, I read that, and I think, wow.
It's a little on the nose, isn't it?
Yes, it is a little bit. I feel like I need to contact James Roberts and say, "Oi, I know that we didn't exist when we wrote this, but..."
Feel seen.
Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to explain that comment that I made, and hopefully people realise.
Oh, that's tickled with us.
We're all perfectly normal and not cracked in the head in the slightest. Anyway,
thank you for that. Thank you for that, Andy.
We now return to the Transformers.
So here we are for discussion time, and one of the first questions we have for discussion time. Do Transformers have a religion, or is it more spiritual?
Is religion not spiritual?
There are certain aspects which are definitely spiritual.
Depending on the religion, I suppose.
Yeah, because the thing with religion, to me, religion's got a state of laws and rules that you have to follow, and it's usually quite rigid, and it doesn't matter if you're quite good, if you're not within that religion, you're stuffed, you go to hell. Where in that religion, someone could be evil and diabolical and murder things, but they'll go to heaven because they're in the right religion. That's the way I think human religion seems to work.
Or the bit where you just say sorry at the end.
Yeah.
Which I think is a brilliant game.
Sorry.
Fantastic.
I know.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, you got Primus and you've got Unicron kind of portraying a bit of God and the devil kind of thing. I don't know heaven and hell so much, but that's the I don't know, the 13 primes, if you want to start getting into deities and spiritual figures, the Knights of Cybertron considered mythical.
The Allspark, becoming one with the Allspark, which is we've seen dipped in and out of.
And Transformers will do artifacts. I've said this a lot. You go from Matrix to, I love a good artifact. Matrix, Allspark, key to the plasma energy chamber, key to Vector Sigma, Vector Sigma himself. Oh yeah, there's what are we chasing after this week? Transwarp keys. What else? So yeah, I think there's a sense of there is a sense of religion, but it's not to Jamie's point of rules, commandments, things like that. I don't want to say it's much looser.
I mean, does it seem kind of sectarian, in the sense that obviously the Autobots believe in spiritual and they like that Primus is a god and he's a good god, he's a god of light, which I think about the Marvel UK interpretation more often than not. But the Decepticons obviously believe in that as well, but it's almost like they half believe in it, and and it's almost like they've lost their way and they're going around murdering and killing, and it's only towards the end, I think, of Scorponauts when he realizes, holy crap, this is all true, this is right, and he decides, I'm going to do the right thing and try.
Yep, we can still hear you.
Oh, yeah, no, my screen goes blank there, so it was a bit of a fight there. I'm going, what's coming up for my viewing
Mangold
pleasure?
Primes.
Oh no!
Jesus, they've switched me off.
Yeah. So my heart always raises there.
Nothing appeared on the screen, Jamie. You're okay.
Yeah.
We can't see what you see.
I just think, it's almost like, I just think with Autobots, the height of technology and civilization, and in some words, I just think believing in a deity, or they treated Primus as a god, I just think is maybe kind of wrong, because it's not the way I'd think an advanced civilization would be. It'd be past that, and it's for that very reason, short call, that I like the cartoon version interpretation, but it's not as exciting as you would want it to be. There is no greater meaning behind it. It was just people trying to make a quick buck and enslave.
Absolutely
something.
agree with you, Jamie. I think my favorite incarnation of religion or spiritualism in Transformers is epitomized by 3 characters: Swindle, Octane, and Starscream. I lie, I cheat, I steal. That's it. Go do it.
But
Kill
that
them
would
all.
be you, Rohan.
Yeah, well,
For reasonable prices, Rohan. For reasonable prices. Oh my God, you're the swindler.
It fucking makes sense now.
Don't out me. Don't out me.
He always was. He always was.
Never hid it. It's me.
The biggest trick the devil ever made was make you think he didn't exist. Rohan.
So what we agreed?
So you all agreed.
Religion
You didn't really say something. I know, because you're probably, out of all of us, you're closer to meeting that sort of spiritual.
Well, he was there at the beginning.
1 foot in the grave.
Yeah, maybe it's too real for you. This is too real, Jamie. Too real.
I mean, look, they couldn't get it into the cartoon, could they? They had 20 minutes or 19 minutes. They couldn't get it in there, and I don't think
it's a time issue. I think the fact of the matter is you stay away from religious elements in America, in particular. You don't really dip into that because it causes party.
There's certain things you don't tackle.
I don't know. Maybe in the 80s you did.
No,
yeah, maybe
I think all the way
Oh,
around actually.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
worse
now they
then.
might do it because they're doing, all the sort of like woke stuff and all the kind of, whatever. But in those days, I think it was a bit more PG.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it depends on the writer. I don't really think, like you say, they're technologically advanced.
I'm going off on
I
one
don't know.
in the chat here as Transformers the show. Aren't God just science we do? It understand it. I mean, you can't argue with that, can you?
Teaching the kids of tomorrow, Andy.
I see
Teaching
this
the
with a
kids of
very
tomorrow.
light heart, Alexis.
Wow.
Fuck off.
Put the glass down. Stop typing.
Go back to GoBot or Dildo. I think you were doing better there, mate.
Oh, bless it.
Yeah,
Anyway, what's the next question?
I do worry. Legend, sometimes we treat it with kid gloves, and when we dish one legend, we should dish them all, because it's all should be treated the same. And I just worry when we start to treat a legend as something special when it's not. You're not more special than someone else who doesn't believe in a god or a deity or whatever. And I think we have to be real there. And I think sometimes if our writers are pushing religion, they can't cherry pick what's the positive bits and ignore all the negative crap, but mostly ignore how humanity will twist anything to suit its own ends and will use anything to suit its desires. But if you could start again, what would you change about your collection and why? So if you could start again, what would you change about your collection and why?
I think I would not sit on the fence so much. I think we live in a world now where it's easy to move toys on, but it's not so easy to get a first run. And if it's a cool character and a cool mold and you want it, and I wanted it, rather than sitting waiting for everyone else's opinions and picking it up later on. You just bite the bullet and get it, and if you don't like it, move it on. Give it, move it on to someone else, rather than, I think, regretting not picking it up and then trying to pay, secondhand prices. The Earthrise Seekers, Ramjet and Thrust. Even the Magic Square Optimus Prime. I waited for version 2 and I still didn't get it, and I went to get it and it was sold out. I was gutted, but you know what I mean. So I think for me, if I did it all again, if I think I'm going to like it, buy it.
Sorry, I'm just laughing. I was wondering if you put people. I'm just looking at Alexis. It's almost like a self-destruction of alcohol. He's
He's talking about Columbus now for some fucking reason.
I don't want to go there. I don't.
If I change my collection, I'll say now, I wish I hadn't stopped as a kid. I wish I hadn't had the break in between. And I remember having a discussion once online in one of the forums, and people were discussing like how they got it back into collecting, and I made a comment about how when I was kind of like 11, 12 years old, simply none of my friends got toys anymore or anything like that. Everybody was into smoking, drinking, girls, fashion, music. That was just what everybody did, and I went along with that. And I wish I hadn't. And people were saying, "Oh, well, you should have still collected it." Well, women always, yeah. But that's the thing. I kind of wish I'd known what I know now, and I would have carried on, because we slag off Beast. Well, we don't slag off. We make jokes on Beast Wars expense a little bit because we.
No, you were right first time.
All right, we do slag off Beast Wars, but I think there's so many people I know who I actually respect, and Rohan and Ian, and that I kind of feel like I missed out on a big chunk of that Transformers history, and it's very hard for me to kind of reconnect with it. And yet, as soon as I kind of got back into collecting in the early 2000s, all those lines that came along at that point, I still have a place in my heart for. So it's just, for me, there's there's a hole there, and I think, well, maybe I could have had a collection. I could have had all the Beast Wars figures, and maybe I actually would have really enjoyed Beast Wars. I just do remember watching the Beast Wars cartoon and thinking, A, that I didn't like the CGI, and B, that's not a truck. And sorry, but that's, it's stereotypical, I know, but that's how I felt at the time. If I'd stayed in Transformers all the way through, maybe my views would have softened. But then again, I do know some people who, did collect and still didn't like Beast Wars because truck not monkey, all that. But there you go.
You've just stolen exactly what I was going to say. My biggest regret was no, that's all right. And I'm just going to compliment exactly what you've said, which is that when Beast Wars came around, I went out and I bought a couple of figures, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a try. It's Transformers. I love Transformers, and I couldn't get on with it. And to your point, I just wish I'd been a little bit more open-minded to keep with the cartoon, because having watched it retrospectively, I know it wasn't like millions of years later, like that some of us, but it was a few years later, and it just blew my mind, and it still does to this day. In fact, I'm not going to say this in a negative way, because Ian chose a really good section for his segment earlier in terms of story arcs, but I did expect you to put Beast Wars up there. It was going to be one of my honorable mentions, because the story arcs in Beast Wars blew my mind. Honestly, they are absolutely fantastic, and yeah, absolutely, that is probably one of the biggest regrets.
Dave from TF Nation would agree with you there, Rohan.
Yeah, they're brilliant. I mean, if you watch it, they're so in depth. They teach you so much about the various different connotations of the historic elements of Earth and space, and the Vok, and elements of Unicron. And it's just awesome, absolutely awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more with what Rohan said there. I think for me, I don't know what I would change other than get considerably more space and room and be prepared for the onslaught that's coming.
Don't have kids. That's what I should have done.
Yeah.
More rooms in the house. What was I thinking?
Sell one of them.
I've tried.
I don't know what I would change about my collection. Otherwise, I don't think. I mean, it would be nice to say, see, even then, as a kid, I don't have half of the toys that I once did, because they're well played, they're well worn, battered and bruised. Very few of them that I've kept. I kept my G1 Grimlock, was one of my favourites, but Some other ones that have been worn to absolute tatters, they're good for the bin now. They've been loved, and I wouldn't change that. So I don't know. I don't think I've got an argument in this one. I don't, because I quite enjoyed my journey. I still am enjoying it, and yeah, I don't know if I would change anything because I'm quite happy where I am.
I'm kind of with Arrowfyre there. I don't know if I would change anything, or to better way. I think the mistakes I made, I've learned from, and I wouldn't want to make these mistakes at a later date. I'd rather learn, from my mistakes, and I think your mistakes add to your character and they shape you, And I think, and I think the trouble is that if you were to go back into the past, or you could start afresh, and this is what you would do. So it is a fantasy because you wouldn't know what was wrong or what's the wrong choices because you didn't get a chance to make those mistakes. And I think sometimes we think about mistakes too much and errors in our collecting and as regrets, and we really shouldn't. We should think of them as a positive because it's made us better, it's made us stronger, and made us more focused, and made us realize what we want and what we're going to get. And that journey is something that we all have to do. And I think that's a good thing. And I think, when you look back into your collecting, what you would want to do now, just think about that, that you've evolved, you've moved forward, and it's something you should be proud of. Thinking about,
I haven't. I regret every freaking day.
I was just watching Pete's face.
That hasn't made me a better person in the slightest. It's made me a dickhead. All right? It's made me a category A dickhead.
I thought you were going to say you regret that massive Optimus Prime.
I mean, I just want to put out there.
It doesn't pay any rent.
Doesn't
have
bring
you ever
any
thought?
pleasure.
Have you ever thought that maybe you're just a dickhead? I don't know.
No.
Pete, you want to say this one?
Yes. Is that the question?
The answer yes.
I definitely agree with what Jamie said, though. It definitely does shape us. One of the things I probably would change is not be such a cheap git and buy more bots when I was younger. But, what can you do? That's who I am. It's ingrained in my blood. I have to be cheap. Oh, and just one more thing. When we were talking about the spiritual stuff, Beast Wars and Beast Machines, I think actually were probably the most influenced in terms of spiritual and religious aspects from Transformers for me. Talking about things like the Oracle and Optimus Primal's affiliation with the organic stuff, that was kind of weird and out there. Definitely very much
the Vokin and themselves are quite spiritual. I mean,
they are.
That's probably the one thing. As much as I do bum off, there's one of Paul's terms, bum off Beast Wars as much as I can. I did find the Vok a little bit. Now you're losing me. I found the Vok a bit, but they were very spiritual in the context.
You stayed involved till that point, did you?
Oh, yeah, I was committed by that point. So far down the line, I wasn't going to pull out now, would I?
Cybernetic living creatures, but the minute
I was fine with that. I was perfectly good with that, Joe.
You've lost me.
I'll tell you where they went.
It was a giant floating heads that put me off.
I'll tell you where they went too far. Animals. Bloody hell, that was garbage.
Yeah, I've never actually watched. Was there a show or something?
There wasn't. It was just
one
of the toys. There might have been a cartoon, but yeah.
I've got one of the toys. It's a crap toy.
Why the female transformed into a male lion? I just, especially when the female lions were notoriously the better hunters and more skilled. I just. But anyway, if you could create your own combiner, what alt modes would the bots have? And why?
Blimey.
Easy. Decepticon Jet. The Predators. Something like the Predators, combiner with Skyquake at the center of it. That's just immediately off the top of my head. I haven't put any thought into that whatsoever. I know we were supposed to put some thought in, but I forgot.
I think that's a great shout. I'm going to go out there with a really left field one. I haven't given it a lot of thought.
That's your question.
I know. It's my question. I know it was. I'm doing full Alexis. And my answer is full Alexis as well. It would be 5 planets that transform into one huge robot and just devour things as planets do. That would be my idea, and they could have their own little solar system, create their own little solar system out of it. That's a sort of wacky idea.
Wasn't there a sci-fi series like that? Wasn't a sci-fi series where there was an alien race that had a spaceship, which was basically a moving solar system.
I'm not
Wasn't
aware of it, but that sounds really cool. Let me know what it is.
Planets attached to each other and stuff like that.
Find it,
you know,
Jamie.
and-
Find it so we know what this is. And if it doesn't exist, we need to write this show.
Andromeda. That's it. Andromeda.
Oh yeah, Andromeda. I'm going to check it out now.
You stole the idea, Rohan. I'm disappointed.
I've never seen it before, but
you obviously have. You probably got the entire DVD collection, and
dear.
you thought that no one else would know
hang on.
that.
I'm going to
choice.
Google as to when it came out because I was probably too young.
Alexis is claiming this was his question from last week, which
Oh come on!
I can't remember. But Rohan, were you involved in that conversation last week?
I was on the show last week. Yeah.
No. I mean, I don't
Oh,
think it's on that.
Ed's taken my idea. Oh, I was going to go
I
back.
can kick him. Don't
Oh,
worry.
that's
No
a
one will
great
see it.
Quick, delete the comments.
The
I go,
leader was
see-
a
see
the
it
leader
quick.
was a canal boat. The leader was a canal boat,
What?
and then it was various other boats. So like
Is
a,
it called
like
Rosie
a
and
jet
Jim
ski-
by any chance?
Yeah,
If Transformers
ski.
landed in Manchester and Leeds.
a jet ski and like a catamaran and like a canoe. But Ed got there first, so I should.
Transformer, they've got
I
like
need
a
to give
flat
it to
cap
Ed.
on.
Yeah.
Ravages a whippet.
Took
There
forwards.
you go.
However, Matt Davis, 4 tractors and a combine harvester. Yes, Matt.
You could sing the song, couldn't you? And
Oh, you got the combine
mine
harvester.
harvester. Will give me the
Combine
key.
harvester.
I like Lee's idea.
Affecting the
about-
West Country demographic.
Big up to all our West Country brothers and sisters, and brothers and sisters, and all of you. online.
Oh,
Bristol.
Bristers.
hey, my wife is from Bristol. I'm not saying anything.
Pretender combiner, Sunstreaker Titan. No, in all honesty, I think that would have been my idea. I think somehow, I think you'd be stretching the realms of possibility, though, wouldn't you? You've got a Pretender shell that can then combine just.
We just
why
have
not?
planet combiners. Well, you know, have we just gone too
no, agreed,
far?
agreed. Yeah, no, completely.
It's a bit out
Going
there,
from
isn't it?
Andromeda, a successful sci-fi series to be back now.
2000 to 2005. It's a good shout.
Oh, he
And
can't
he
be
stole
that
Alexis's
successful. None of us
question.
had heard of it.
Yeah,
What
he
can I
stole
say?
Alexis's question as well.
I lie, I
Unbelievable.
cheat, I steal. I'm honest.
Honest.
Oh, play the game, not the player.
I'm an honest thief.
Honest, Gov.
Arrowfyre, what do you think?
Oh, I've got no fucking idea. I don't know.
What about the question?
Yeah. I mean, would it be cool to have like all of the leaders, if you can, or at least figureheads merging up to be kind of like a super leader, I guess, of Matrix carriers? So could you go down the route of Optimus, Magnus, Rodimus, and start throwing in some other heavy general name and have a real super combiner? Because they teased an Optimus combiner in IDW, and at that point anyone was becoming a combiner. But the common theme at the very least could be: could you have an Optimus, Rodimus, and others against the Galvatron, Cyclonus, Megatron, Soundwave, Shockwave, all merging up and kind of having an elite battle off, I suppose. But then again, I'm doing it. The question is to do it like what. Create them from fresh, and what would their alt modes be? I've just chosen 10 characters. I don't know. Sorry, Alexis, I can't satisfy your question. I don't think.
To be fair,
I mean,
you're fine. Ian. Just go.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Let's be
obviously,
honest, Alexis would have gone off on a tangent anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Alexis is doing in the chat what you would be doing if he was on the show, in that he's just constant comments.
He's never away, is he? He's never far away.
For Alexis, surely it would have been Kissing Club, the Cricket Club, Roscam.
Dolphin combiners. Dolphin and giraffes.
I mean, that's why Alexis isn't here tonight, because he received an injury when he was at SeaWorld, didn't he? A dolphin. But sadly for the dolphin, was it bit Alexis? The dolphin got alcohol poisoning and passed away.
Rest his soul.
Yeah.
We miss you, Flipper.
And apparently you can catch fish in the water, but yeah. Right.
Oh dear.
But you get well, Alexis. We're praying for you. Spiritually.
Not that we're religious.
But only a God can explain him. There's no way. Nobody could have
Science is lost.
Yes.
He's a man of science. Anyway, right. What's the next one? We should probably move on.
Yeah.
But apart from obviously my joke, what would happen if Teletran had went to a sex shop instead? I think it would have been funny or interesting when you think about the combiners. You know, if in some of the stories, especially when you think about the aerial bots, they were stuck. They used those cargo planes and jets, and it was almost, you know, necessity was the means. And you could think about maybe if they went to a fairground or something like that, or you know, it'd be an arcade machine or something, or you know, a rocking horse and stuff. You know, some sort of scenario where they had no options, like taxis, bus. You know, a sort of metro center. You know, something like that. And you could have a team out of there, and obviously the taxis would take you a tour of that location and just get nowhere. You know, Optimus Prime would say Autobots roll out, and they would just never fucking shop because they're still going around their sort of base in the arc, etc. But yes, moving on to our sort of next question. Actually, I'll get there in a second.
While you're getting that question, what was the storyline that was it Hearts of Steel? That was set back in, like, was it the late 1800s in America? Did they have a combiner in that? They had lots of different modes, didn't they? But I can't remember. I didn't actually read all the comics. I'm just trying to remember from what I saw. That would be interesting.
Steampunk era.
It was hard going.
Was it?
So here we've got a very thoughtful question, actually, which a lot of thinking into this. Transformers are considered timeless, but often depicted as aged warriors or young pups. Question is, are Transformers typically timeless? And if so, what would we expect their lifespan to be?
Is this your question, Jamie?
No, it's not actually. This is Arrowfyre's.
This is a very well thought out question. Do they have a lifespan? Because, like you say, we see them as old bots in some of the stories, don't we? And young.
They're at least 4 million years old, aren't they?
Yep.
Well, at least.
So, who's to say that
got nowhere to go, has he?
He has no idea. He's not thought this to go.
While he's fiddling around, let's talk about the episode Desertion of the Dinobots, and when the Autobots and Decepticons started running out of cybertonium and started degrading, because that was 4.5 million years after they started existing, and then the Dinobots had to go back to Cybertron and get cybertonium to revive them all before they all perished. I mean, in my opinion, when we're talking about Autobots versus Decepticons, it kind of depends on who you're fighting against. If you're fighting against Megatron, you got about 5 seconds, mate. If you're fighting against Wheelie, then you're good. You're good.
Come with a plank.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry,
I just think when I think about Transformers, it's almost the personality comes with the memory core. You know, when you look at Cup, there's no reason to think that was Cup's original body. I mean, Cup could have been in other prior bodies, and he's just been moving down. So eventually he gets into this body. So he has got that sort of plethora of experience. And it's not the body which we seem to be quite focused on. Because when you look at Transformers like Bruticus, they all were obviously villains who had their memories put in. Yeah. Where when you had the aerial bots, they were young, literal fresh pups who were newly created. And their personalities were based on what they came from. So someone like Hot Rod could be young because he was something new. That could be his first body. You know, so even though he might be 4 million years old, where the equivalent of Cup could be like 80 million years or 100. You know, they don't really explain it. And I think sometimes when you look at the body, you know, the outer shell, but that's maybe irrelevant because you look at Optimus Prime, Orion Pax was a young trendsetter, go-getter. Then he gets killed and murdered and recreated, and suddenly he's this wise old warrior in Optimus Prime. Or he became wise and old because of, you know, of fighting in the Civil War, you know. Yes, and it's just sort of developed in that. And do we know the Transformers go into stasis? You know, do they live longer because of that? There's lots of stuff because they were 4 million years, but mostly because they were, you know, deactivated. You know, I mean, and is it?
It depends on which media it is, though.
Yeah, I was to say IDW did a lot of the spark and being constructed cold, which really just goes into Jamie's point there. You can just put a spark in a new body and effectively body hop, can't you? It doesn't particularly matter how old your perceived to be, whether you're an Alpha Trion, Cup, or even Ironhide, who are some of the older end. But it's, Hot Rod was depicted as young. It could have been his first body, and he was, a young character, but they are still considered timeless. They don't age as such, but time still passes. So, yeah.
Alexa sums it up perfectly.
That's the most coherent thing he said all night.
Yeah, that's the only time I'm ever going to say it.
Brilliant.
I feel quite sad that my somewhat deep and thought out question can be answered with a trigger reference.
It's true. He's had
It's the only trigger reference.
This is the way.
I'm wasted here.
He's had 7 new heads and 5 handles.
5 new handles.
Exactly the same broom, though. Anyway,
cheers.
I mean,
I
just like it in the sense of human biology. There's not a single cell in our body once you hit the age of 25, which was there since you were a baby. You are a new entire individual. You're a new being, and literally, your memories are not your memories; they're the memories of something which existed before you. And that's helped to sort of shape your personality. I always wonder with Transformers, it's kind of like that. Does that memory core keep getting upgraded and improved? Do they, are they really the same individual they were, 1 million years ago, 2 million years ago, etc.? Any more input, guys?
I'm not going to say what I was going to say. It's a GoBots reference, so let's move on.
Yeah, the answer's no. Then
Transformers a show.
Let it die, Rohan. Let it die.
It's gone.
So,
no.
Should Beast War fans be allowed to vote and have children? What more should be done?
Sorry, it's already happened. So
we need some kind of a support group. We need investment. Yeah.
Persecution, I tell you, this is just pure persecution.
What with that and GoBots? Anyway,
do not tar us with the same brush.
No, I'm just
Ian's
terrible
abandoned
all
you,
round.
At least I have Transformers in the title.
Oh dear. I don't think there's any serious answers to that question.
Wow.
I mean, obviously, it's quite a bigoted question, and I'm shocked to see that it got past our quality control. Yeah, and it came here. But
you have
it's
a quality control,
and it would be rude, maybe not to delve into answering this properly.
Yeah, but I was busy, so I missed that one. I'm like Homer Simpson on the safety stuff. I saw some lights blinking, but I didn't think anything of it.
I'm basically happy for Beast War fans out there, to be honest, and I think they shouldn't have too much. They shouldn't have too much of creative input. I don't think they should be limited. No matter how much you work out at the gym, Ian. But they do bring something to our fandom. Maybe I don't know, something to avoid.
Misery.
Who's got fireworks?
It's me. It's in the background here.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it's very close.
Thought the wife had set the bloody Alexa off again for a second then. That's the kind of thing she'd do.
Right. Which pre-existing Transformers storyline would you adapt to Bayverse next, and why? So
Kiss players.
Are you trying to kill this franchise?
Sorry, no, I'm only joking.
Kill the channel.
That is a reference to Jamie's sex shop in reference earlier, isn't it?
Actually, it's because was it Paul shared the meme thing of all different varieties of Transformers, not you.
Oh, not you.
Yeah.
And then Alexis was the one who swapped out Kiss players for something. I think it was Beast Wars or something. And it's made Alexis, are you endorsing Kiss players? The opportunity arose. I thought
an entire collection in the wall
for perverts everywhere.
He probably cosplays this one.
What? One of the girls?
Can we just say though, for everyone watching, it's never been proven that Alexis is a pervert. Everyone thinks it, but it's never been proven.
Allegedly.
Never been proven. Yeah.
Allegedly. I don't know how allegedly works, but
never convicted. Never convicted.
Yeah. Guilty until
just got-
found evidence.
Yeah.
Guilty until found
And
evidence.
anyone can pick up Thrush at SeaWorld. Anyone.
Talking about Thrush. Oh God.
Oh, dear.
Do we- Was that was a serious question before I ruined that? So what was the question again? I've
It
almost
was, yeah.
forgotten it.
Right, so
Which
Transformers.
Go on.
I'll show it again.
Get the PowerPoint.
Which
up.
pre-existing Transformer storyline would you adapt to Bayverse next, and why?
I think seeing the end of Rise of the Beast when you get Noah in like an exosuit form, I can see like Headmasters coming on. I can see, I think a Rebirth-esque. I mean, it'd be good to see a live action Scorponok. I'd be quite happy with that, a Titan scale. But yeah, I can see much more. If they're going to go down the route of G.I. Joe, I can see much more meshing of the two. So yeah, Headmasters for me.
Cool shout.
And with a little bit of a twist, like they did in Power Rangers, where the Power Rangers were, they showed the Power Rangers driving the Zords and stuff. I think it would work. It would work quite well with that human or Nebulan
Counterpart.
I think effect. Yeah. No, I think that's a great idea.
I think it'll be
Yeah,
human
that's
rather
pretty
than
awesome.
Nebulan.
Yeah.
I just don't.
But why
think
not?
it'll go that
But
way.
why not?
Yeah, why
Right?
not?
They've got transforming plastic metal robots. We've got the plastic ones. But
Sometimes they're
but-
metal.
But why? But why not have another planet in the mix?
Why limit
You know,
it to Earth?
Yeah.
It's not so much that, but you've got the difficulty of writing it into the story so that it works.
Yeah, agreed.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not that you wouldn't want it. Of course you would.
Yeah, but I think
But-
we all know Bayverse and writing's never been their strong point. So why did they get in?
No, and not a lot of
Just
live
do
action
it.
moves really. But then again, you have the Japanese version. They're not Nebulan, are they? So
Yeah, that's
they
right.
are
Yeah,
the
Planet-
they are the
Planet Master,
Transformers.
aren't
They're
they? Yeah.
the Masters are just small Transformers that then use the Transdectors to then fight.
But I
Marvel
like
and
the way
stuff.
Noah and Mirage worked in that form. To me, that was one of the highlights
Yeah.
of that movie.
Definitely.
You honestly believed that those two guys worked so well together, and the human wasn't just some sort of stupid accessory that just got in the way and could do fuck all. Mirage really cared for him, and he really made Mirage better.
It was a good partnership, wasn't it? You felt like it wasn't just putting one with another, let's make something happen. There was, towards the end of it, Noah was just as important to Mirage as Mirage was to him. So, yeah, I can see that being an individual success if they could maybe use that formula again. Easier said than done, but that'd be something I'd like to see. Headmasters, Target Masters might be a bit of a stretch in this day and age, but Headmasters could be quite good.
Yep,
I
cool.
think that's an exceptionally good idea, Arrowfyre. Okay, who can top that?
I don't know if I could top it, but my idea when I first thought of this was Megatron's master plan, right? But it's already been done in one of the first Bayverse films. I can't remember. Was it Dark Side of the Moon? Dark of the Moon. Yeah, Dark of the Moon. So they used that concept. But the other one I thought of was actually Transformer Cybertron. So talking about different worlds and about some catastrophic event coming through and some brilliant time warrior coming back from the past, i.e. Vector Prime, or from the future rather, to stop that, then getting all these different worlds to work together. And again, coming back to your points, it's going to be really hard to do, right, on live action and incorporating all of that. But that's the kind of thing I want to see Transformers grow into, rather than just being stuck here on Earth and having the same storylines. I do appreciate what you're all saying about Noah and Mirage. I think that is a brilliant new bonding. And if you look back to the first couple of films where it was supposed to really be Captain Lennox, and he didn't really have that much affinity with Bumblebee or Prime, really. I mean, they fought together a little bit, but neither of them had enough camaraderie like these two did. I'd like to see that on different planets, like with Cybertron Scourge, for example, as a prime example of a baddie who becomes good, and all that kind of emphasis on working together to achieve a common goal of saving the Earth, maybe, or something.
Andy, any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm hungry. No, sorry about this. No, because I like the idea of the Headmasters, and I think we've discussed this before. I feel like we have, and I agree with Ian. I think Headmasters, especially after the last film, feels like a natural way for it to go.
Yeah.
I like Rohan's idea of the Cybertron idea of if you've got Unicron, and Unicron is this massive villain, not just for Transformers or for humans, but for everybody, then you've got this link up. It's just that's so much easier to do over a cartoon series of 20-something episodes than it is over a film. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. We could definitely see it. I don't know what else from the problem is trying to find stories from the comic books, from the cartoon series and things that actually work to transfer over to a film. I actually thought Dark of the Moon, the way they did take what was essentially the cartoon episodes of was it Megatron's master plan and swap the over. I thought they actually did a decent job of it. It's not my least favorite Bayverse film, but it's still got lots of problems, as most Bayverse films had. But for a story, we've talked about this before. I'd love to see something like a Time Wars type story with a Galvatron who comes back and, you know, a herald of Unicron or whatever he is. But we kind of had that, haven't we? We had Scourge. He was a herald of Unicron who was near unbeatable and still got beaten.
And he got beaten by Optimus
Prime. It didn't make sense. He was like supposed to be super powerful because of Unicron, and he was really close to Unicron, but he gave up power back to Unicron, which is why he then got beaten. And I don't know. Sorry, I don't mean to pick holes into that film, but it's just
Oh, I had the idea in my head, and then suddenly it sort of like just vanished. So I'm going to.
Was it Megan Fox? Bringing it back.
That is often Jamie's idea in his head.
I know, and it's just sort of blanked out.
I actually think Alexis has made a good suggestion about War Dawn, something like a time travel one when they go back and it's on Cybertron and it's set on Cybertron, and you could have human characters like Noah in the exosuits, kind of, you know, they're transported with a group of Autobots, and they've got to do something in the past to make sure that the future isn't changed. But I mean, that's old science fiction, isn't it?
Well, fingers crossed they're going to use some element of that for Transformers 1, right? When that comes out, because what else are they going to do? I know they're going to do the origin story of Optimus Prime and Megatron and how they came up together, but they've got to flesh it out a little bit, right?
It probably won't end up a War Dawn-esque.
No,
will it? It'll be that they were friends.
Yeah,
and then
it's more about that origin story of how it all began. That version of the war, anyway.
It just came back to me.
Why couldn't you do a version of the Rebirth where they came to Earth? You know, in terms of, I know we've said about the headmasters and stuff, but you know, you look at it like this, or even 86. Why couldn't you do, you know, 86 now with the technology and the CGI?
Yeah,
I think they could do a wicked version, and I think with the right voice actors, you know, they could springboard 86 back in, because, you know, rocking soundtrack. They've got a hero in terms of, you know, Hot Rod. You know, they can tweak the storyline a little bit, maybe so Optimus doesn't die.
I think they can make a good Hot Rod again, a proper good Hot Rod. They proved that with Mirage. They can make a good, lovable character. I think my idea would be to have a different slant. Is that right now it seems to be fashionable to like the bad guys, like the boys, you know, anti-heroes. They're not really anti-heroes. We seem to like just villains right now. As long as the villains are well dressed and funny, it's okay. And I would like to see a sort of take, which Pete was talking about when he was talking about his Lone Wolf, where there's a story where someone teams up with a Decepticon who's evil, who's bad, not brilliant, you know, but he's actually hunting another Decepticons for another reason, because they killed his friend, you know, so, or they killed an innocent, which he was actually against, because he doesn't mind destroying Autobots. He doesn't mind destroying something that can fight, but he's not going to murder someone.
Do you mean a bit Punisher, like Marvel Punisher?
Well, no, because he knows he's the bad guy, and he'll quite happily try to fight Autobots if he sees them. He sees them as enemy, but he's going after the Decepticons, and the Decepticons are trying to hunt him. The Autobots are trying to hunt him because he's a Decepticon, you know. And I think it can be quite an interesting, good story. And he's helping the human. And the more he helps the human, the more he starts to soften to maybe what these organic fleshings are, you know. And he starts to feel soft for them, you know. And I think that would be an interesting story. And I think that's kind of taken away from, like, not the Lone Wolf, what Pete was talking about, but also about Starscream when that Christmas story as well. You know, so I think it'd be a sort of amalgamation like that.
I think if you look at how they, obviously Marvel padded out the Marvel universe, you know, because there was an overarching story and, you know, Thanos and all the rest of it. But it is surprising the fact that, you know, Transformers has had the longevity it's had and it's still associated with Hasbro, where they haven't tried to flush out a universe where there is a film every 18, you know, a mixture between animated films maybe and live
They haven't
action.
gone that way, have they?
Every 12, 18 months kind of thing, where it then kind of pulls together. And then, dare I say, you know, you have a Beast Wars, you know, you have a Beast Wars film, you have a Cybertron film, you have an Armada film kind of thing. And maybe somehow you then bring it all together, maybe in a multiverse kind of thing, but you bring it all together in a culmination. Because they've done such a great job with them, so it does work.
Yep.
If you put enough money behind it and get the right writers, it does work.
True.
Well, a last question for tonight, and then it's the weekend where we're all going to party.
We're all going to what?
Last question: which non-Transformer franchise that is yet to get a film adaptation would you like to see on the silver screen, and why?
Thundercats.
Why?
It's hard to argue.
Why? Because
you like Panthro, don't you? You want to be.
He's going to cosplay as Panthro.
I thought you were about to say,
halfway there, isn't he?
I thought you were about to, Ian. I thought you were about to say you want to beat one off to Panthro, and I went, "Fucking hell, this is
gone hard early." There you go.
I don't know. Why not? You know, in terms of CGI.
I want it. Just make it. Just do it.
Let me repose the question. Why shouldn't we do a Thundercats film? No, I think it's the last one left. If I'm honest. You know, they've done Turtles, they've done Transformers.
Didn't they do a movie around the millennium?
What, Thundercats?
No, they've never done a movie of Thundercats. They've rebooted the cartoon, and this is part of the problem with any of these things that we all love because we loved them from the 80s. Like you just mentioned about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that's been going since the start, and it hasn't stopped. It's just reinvented itself like Transformers does. Yeah. Transformers reinvents itself all the time, and that's part of the reason why I think we don't see these films, because their popularity is not the same as Transformers. Yep. It's not the same as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We love them, but the people who own the rights to them struggle to convince the film companies that there's going to be enough of an audience there to really get these things going.
Yes,
clearly, if you're going to do a film, Mr. Ben, possibly backless, you've got to go with the big hitters.
Either the engine. Yeah.
Whoa!
Are you crazy?
The Moomins.
The Moomins.
Loads of Moomins. To be fair, Moomins probably might have more chance of success, because I think that's still really quite.
It's never stopped.
In Japan.
It's never stopped.
You know, you'd probably get away with that, but it's such a difficult question to answer because there's so many we'd love to see.
There are so many. Yeah.
But it's the realism of it, whether you're actually going to get it. Like Mask, we talked about that.
Lots of people in the comments. Calling for Mask. I'd love to see Mask, and it shouldn't be that hard to do,
works,
right?
Doesn't it? Yeah, exactly. Like the vehicles, easy to do. Transformations, the CGI and everything. But again,
the warring, it's
another toy line that kind of stopped, and it's never.
Bucky O'Hare.
Bucky.
Yeah. Wasn't it even more short-lived than Mask? And things like that. I mean, it wasn't around for long. As popular as it
literally. They found it and it was extinct within a month.
I don't think the animation style helped particularly. I don't remember it being the best animation.
But Brave Star,
again,
Brave Star would be a
fantastic
one now, wouldn't
it? Yeah.
You know, that should be one that should be screaming to get done.
Shoot people.
You know,
what a surprise! Alexis has said Naruto.
Yeah, what a surprise!
That didn't take long, did it?
So when
constant movies,
when I thought of this question, I thought about one particular franchise which I don't think anybody else here is into, but really lends itself, in my opinion, to today's day and age.
I said we don't like GoBots. It's not happening.
No, not GoBots. Honestly, not GoBots.
Rocklord.
It's not Rock Lords.
Oh.
It's BattleTech, and it's about the human race in the year 3000 has evolved into warring factions and become broken down, and a subset of the human race escaped from Earth and went off into space a few thousand years ago or a few hundred years ago, and they come back as mutated humans with superpower, and they all have these big mechs and they all fight, and basically these descendants, if you like, of the humans want to overtake the world and take over basically. And I was thinking you could kind of adapt this into Transformers a little bit. If you utilize Sandstorm and Paradron, you could use those elements of, Autobots who had left Cybertron years ago, had now developed their own mythology or spirituality or religion, whatever you want to call it, and had come back with different ideals and said, hey, you guys stop fighting your stupid war, we're going to take over and change things
again. Rohan, you ripped off G2 Transformer comics.
You've made a non-Transformer franchise into a Transformer franchise. Your answer is void.
To be fair,
BattleTech was older
players ago.
I mean, let's break down GoBots. Let's see why GoBots.
Hey,
GoBots. Now, nothing to do with the music, which was awesome in Transformers the movie, and the music in GoBots is just like non-existent. But you've got 85 minutes of pure action and bliss in Transformers the movie. GoBots. 71 minutes of sheer terror as you realise there's 71 minutes of it to play. The characters
Rolling Rocks.
Transformers and GoBots. GoBots turn into massive robotic dinosaurs. Enough said. GoBots.
Jamie, how long have you been
fucking rocks,
sitting on
Rohan. They turn into rocks.
Hey, those rocks, they roll down hills and stuff.
Rohan,
you know what a rock is?
Movie. Eric Idle, Judd Nelson, Leonard Nimoy, who was fucking amazing, by the way. Orson Welles. Robert Stack. I mean, Robert Stack was brilliant as Ultra Magnus. I mean, wonderful names. GoBots. No one cares.
No, there was some people in it.
Did you cry? Yes, we all cried. We all cried in Transformers the movie. Especially when Megatron was
Cullen and Welker in GoBots.
I was
crying.
They were,
yeah.
I know Prince Harry was probably crying in that scene. GoBots, you did cry when you realised there was 70 minutes left after the first minute of watching.
Oh man,
you like Brussels sprouts?
Yeah, who doesn't like Brussels sprouts?
Get out!
They're like mini cabbages.
Get out of this chat.
Yeah,
they're like mini cabbages. You're not selling it to me.
Andy, back me up.
No, they're all.
I'm going to back you up.
You had one chance.
It sounded like he was on my side.
What, when I said Brussels sprouts are awful?
No, I didn't catch that.
What part of that gave the indication?
Somebody's ripped me off in the chat. I think it's Ed. I've been to the year 3000. Not much has changed, but they live underwater.
I like some of the options. Make Your Mice from Mars. That's a good shout out there.
Yeah.
Rohan.
Gargoyles.
RJ Gargoyles.
I think you mean Street Sharks as well. You mean Street Sharks.
Captain Scarlet's been done to death. RJ, sorry, get stuffed. Stingray.
You're doing so well.
You won't get Stingray or Captain Scarlet because Thunderbird's failed, and if Thunderbird
Exo Squad will do.
Thank you, Volts of Icon.
Exo Squad should be first choice.
Absolutely.
Anyone with taste should be picking Exo Squad.
Banana
that really would work as well because it basically would be Pacific. It would be Pacific Rim again, wouldn't it? More or less.
Yeah.
But still, it would work nicely.
But then Centurions will probably work in
Centurions
in that regard.
Yeah.
And Gargoyles is actually getting done, isn't it? As a live action.
Is it?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds
I've
interesting.
heard that rumor too. We shall see.
However, I'm not sure. I think Guyver 400 is hoping for something else because it's a love action Gargoyles. The version of Gargoyles that you watch after dark.
Is this
the wrong
copy?
version of
50 Shades of Grey for Gargoyles. What?
50 Shades of Gargoyles.
50 Shades of Gargoyles.
My girls.
Alexis, they said Dino Riders.
Good shout.
Well, knowing Alexis, the word rider would be involved in it.
Just coming back.
Does he mean dolphin riders?
Andy.
Bill and Ben, the flower pot men.
Who's riding who? Just Alexis.
No.
Right, yeah.
Just coming back to what you said about underwater, because obviously Generation 1 episode with King Murgil, what was the name of that episode? Atlantis Arise. You could do that, and that could be an episode for Bayverse film in the future as well.
What, a sea spray spotlight episode?
Yeah, well,
I mean,
That was his
previous
change.
questions.
I
Well,
like
you know
to,
what?
I like to mix it up.
Yeah, you dick.
Alexis isn't here. Someone has to
and-
carry on his spirit.
One more, Mitch.
Oh, good lord.
Anyway, well, guys, thank you for this tonight. Thanks to my wonderful hosts, fellow hosts who have taken part in the panel, showing their wonderful input into the lack of knowledge in the Transformers fandom is exceptional. And shouldn't get in the way of having a good chat about Transformers.
Not shit.
So thanks to everyone who took part tonight, and in the comment section who make the show what it is, because without these wonderful, funny, insightful, and often knowledgeable comments, apart from obviously from Alexis, who just emphasizes how much
Go
we
to
don't
consulting
know. Thank you again, and I hope everyone here has a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you next week, which could be a Thursday, probably a Friday, we don't know.
Who knows?
We're crazy. We're crazy. No
No
see you next
promises.
week, guys. Bye.